Hello, good evening. Welcome to Actoroke. We stream here live at Chaldea Studios every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. We try to do it every Wednesday. I think we're on a better roll for that now. We were taking lots of breaks before, but man, this we're really hitting it now. We have two games that we alternate generally. One is what we're doing tonight is called Burning Wheel. The game system is Burning Wheel. The game campaign is Burning Saratof. You know, I shouldn't have notes. I should just forget the notes. I keep trying to glance at the notes and then getting messed up. We're just going to go off book. Yeah, now I'm really screwed. Okay.
We've got a delay, right?
Yeah. So, Burning Saratof. Yes, it's a Burning Wheel game, and it is set in the imperial capital of the Kurdavan Empire. And anybody who's been a follower of Chaldea over the years knows we always talk about the emperor is dead. And the premise is what happens to an empire when the god emperor dies. Well, we finally decided to talk about that. So this game system, this particular game campaign is set in this capital, and it picks up right when the emperor dies. And so tonight the emperor dies again because I have something a little weird going on here. Is I have 9 players in my cast, and we're taking each period of time, we're rotating the players who are all playing their stories in parallel to this. So we have tonight is a different 3 characters than we had 2 weeks ago, and it is so that's the idea. It's going to be exploring the aftermath of the emperor's death. So I'm your host, Peter Adkisson, and I am let's do quick introductions of everybody. I'm a he, they, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hello, I'm Bonsai Baby, she, her. It's she, her. And I am playing Fatima Al-Rahman. And she, her as well. And I am the Public Safety Councilman. Yes, Council of Public Safety. I care about the people.
My name is Megan Karimian Nasser, she, her, as is Galina Volkova, who is the Imperial Consul of Cartography. So I care about lines of various shapes.
Excellent.
And I am Marcus Mays, he, him, and I'll be playing Ollie, also he, him, who is the Imperial Consul of Commerce. So I like commerce. Yeah.
Excellent, great. Okay, well, a quick comment about safety discussion. So we take our safety tools seriously. I have talked with all of my players in advance, and basically we all agree that our safety, the topics that we will avoid are basically the same as the topics that are in the YouTube and Twitch content guidelines. So pretty straightforward. But I do want to emphasize that if anything comes up that is making you feel uncomfortable, please do the X thing, and we will either veil it or line it. Veils are topics that are okay if they're out there, but let's not get into the details. Mm-hmm. And lines are things like child abuse that just will not come up in our sessions. So there you go. All right. Well, let us talk a little bit about what's going to happen tonight for you all. First of all, I want to just point out a couple pieces of art. So you've seen this map. The imperial capital is here, and this is the Kingdom of Roosh. So even though it's a worldwide capital, it may be important to understand that the worldwide capital is in a kingdom also. So there is kind of like 2 levels. All through Chaldea, there's 2 levels of government, but it's really obvious, or it's easy to get them mixed up because there's the government that's running the Kingdom of Roosh, and then there's the imperial government that runs the planet. So then there's Velaki and Latium and Tashimal, which is Egyptian-inspired. Latium is Roman-inspired, etc. Most of my kingdoms are inspired by some real world place and time. There is some art here. This is, we're talking about the emperor dying. That's him, Emperor Kardava. I think I made some jokes about adolescent male fantasies. Yeah, there he is. And these weird creatures surrounding him are to scale. Those are his Drazzledar, and he has 100 Drazzledar, and these were that for some reason. Nobody knows why. Well, somebody probably does. These 100 Drazzledar are loyal to him and have been loyal since the beginning, unquestionably, and have been key to him being able to take over the world. Nobody's ever killed a Drazzledar. That's how powerful they are. They're, the apex predator of Chaldea, if you will.
So actual size.
Actually,
Then, oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they're like
okay,
30 feet tall.
Don't mess with them.
Yeah.
Okay. That would do some damage. Yeah.
Yeah, they're giants. They're big dudes. Over in the upper right, from Marcus's perspective, is an image. That's the Imperial City, and it's looking down the mall from the Senate Discourse towards the Imperial Capitol. The Imperial Palace is a large building in the middle. You can see off in the distance to its right the Colossus of the Emperor, and off to the left of the palace you see the pyramid, which is the primary headquarters of the worldwide religion of Set.
Here you see a bird.
And there's a bird.
Oh, should we
wonderful
hold it
Chaldean
up
pigeon.
because I don't know.
Oh, they can see it. Oh,
We got an
Okay.
overhead cam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Over there in the bottom right is the Council of Consuls.
Oh, that's what.
Yeah, complete with the Elder Dragon of Magic, the Grand Vizier, the dragon who hovers above it. Some dragons can shapeshift into human form, or it gets smaller. Laufroth refuses to do that.
Yeah, why would you?
Why would you?
So, Emperor, if you want me on your stupid council, then make it so that I can fly over and land.
That's a power move.
Small
He
price
also
for
has a
dragon.
palace up the road.
I just realized if we try to have a console day on a rainy day, we're just gonna be.
It's got a roof.
Oh, it does have a roof.
Yeah, it has a roof.
Okay.
So there's this
has to
open
pick
air
up the wood, though.
atrium, mezzanine level,
Okay.
where he that is covered, and
Yeah.
he just flies over, lands, and then scooches over to the edge of the council. And it's very unnerving. It's probably taking you a couple of years to get to the point where you can weed him out and not think about him.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
first day in the room, sitting there, and just like,
Yeah. Please don't.
Guaranteed they don't tell you. Like, it's just
oh,
like
yeah.
a thing they don't tell you that he's going to be there on your first day.
Yeah.
Just because everyone's like, taking
Yeah.
bets.
And watch him, and please don't drip acid on my documents
My
here.
documents.
Yeah, that's what he sleeps through council meetings a lot. Yeah.
So like one big snore. And all the
Yeah, you get these
papers.
acid bubbles coming out of his nose,
Oh my
right?
gosh.
Okay, I got to credit Bryce for that one. Okay, so that was next
because
item on
that's
the
Bryce,
agenda.
one of the other council members. That's his main contact or main
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah. he's
Yeah,
like-
yeah. He's not actually a consul, but he is a.
He's the voice.
Yeah, exactly.
Laufrost sleeps all the time.
So we have, I want to tell you something we're going to do at the end of the session, so that, two things we're going to do at the end of the session, so that you can be thinking about them during the session, as if the session it's also going to be really exciting, so that'll take concentration, and then you're learning a new system, that's going to take a lot of concentration, but you can also, it's not going to take all your concentration, you'll be able to think of these two things at the same time.
Oh.
I'm sure. So, forecasting what is going to happen in this session, at some point, Kradava's going to die. We know that, right? The Emperor's going to die.
I knew.
He dies during the night,
Okay.
and there's supposed to be a council meeting the next day. The council meeting gets canceled because everything's in chaos, and rescheduled for 2 days later. Okay.
Okay.
So we are sort of covering some ambiguous period of time that leads up to when the council meeting actually happens. Okay.
Okay.
And when that happens, it's going to be a very short agenda. You'll know the agenda. Your characters will know the agenda going in advance. So if you want to do something during the session to react to the agenda, you may do so. The agenda is three things. Is that, and you each have, by the way, a Council of Consuls list here that I left at your seats. Teomir is the chair of the council. Teomir is in charge of the council when the Emperor is not present, which
Yeah.
the Emperor is not going to be present because he's going to be dead. He's dead, Jim.
What?
Yeah. But there have been times in the past when the emperor wasn't there and Tiamir ran the council. So, FYI. So Tiamir is going to, and usually what happens at council is that there is some discussion. A lot of the discussions and politicking happens before council, outside of council, in private parties or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then council meetings themselves are often kind of,
For sure.
it might, I mean, there's some discussion. People will get their voice on record if they feel strongly about something, especially something that they're pretty sure isn't going to go their way. They'll use that as an opportunity to lobby a bit. Oftentimes there'll be somebody that comes in and talks a little bit about a special problem, and the whole council gets to hear it, right? And then after the council meeting, there will be an announcement of what's passed, what changes,
Yep.
you know, if any new laws are set or any new missions, et cetera, et cetera. So, what is going to be discussed and then enacted is that Tiamir is going to suggest and then do it,
What?
summon the Senate.
Oh.
To summit?
Summon the Senate
Oh.
to decide what happens next.
Okay.
Okay? So that's a thing. Another thing that is going to happen is that Tarsus, who is one of the consuls, he is the head of the military. He is a legatus, like he's always in armor, you know, Roman style, plumes, the whole 9 yards. You know, he's a big guy. And by the way, he's Hakmanish also, so he's from, you know him. He's also the heir to the throne of Hakmanish. He is going to ask for, and Tiamir is going to approve, broad permissions for the military to act in the best interest of the empire. Basically, martial
Yeah.
law,
Yeah.
you could call it. By the way, there are parts of the empire that are already under martial law. The entire continent of Nisha, for example, is ruled by a legatus governor
Yes.
because it's just considered too unruly. That's also where the major orc kingdom is. The major almost dwarf kingdom is there, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, all the Tavians we were talking about earlier, they're there. Yeah, it's anyway. The third thing that is going to be on the agenda is that Amandela, who is head of palace security, is going to make a presentation or brief the council on what the hell happened. How did the emperor die? What do we know? And Tiamir is going to ask for broad support
Oh.
in conducting interrogations on anybody who could possibly be involved, starting with anybody who was in the palace the night the emperor was killed, and all key military and political figures in the region, which includes the three of you.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. So, and when she says interrogate, somebody asks, what do you mean by interrogate? And she says, we're going to, the Psionic Syndicate will be in charge.
Oh, okay.
So,
Nice.
yeah. So, now, I tell you all
like that
that,
one.
so that you can think what we're going to do at the end of the session is each of you will get a turn in this chair. I'll move the computer to improve the sightline a little bit. Each of you will get a turn in this chair, and you will get a chance to address the council on one of these topics. So I give streamers the camera and a point,
Okay,
and so
okay.
in character, talk about one of these, pick one of the three topics, and make your plea for why things should go this way or that way, whatever. Anyway, right? Okay. So there we go.
I have to look up something now that I'm thinking about this.
Good.
If you don't mind me.
So we choose one question to.
One of those topics.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
already know.
The
Oh, wait, but there may be.
See, there's a lot of stuff here. There's like good points on.
you also know that the highest ranking elf. By the way, the council is somewhat sexist and racist. It's mostly men, and it's mostly humans.
That'll also do it.
Yeah.
There
What a
are,
crazy fantasy game we're playing.
in particular,
Mostly
in particular, there are notably no elves on the council. There's a dragon, but there's no elves. There are 2 dwarves on the council. The highest ranking elf from one of the key elven kingdoms is here, but she will, and she'll be allowed to be at the council meeting, but she's not really going to be given much of a platform.
Honorary position of just being
It's
there
like
to-
she's in town, she's a powerful elf. We'll let her sit in.
Okay, and there's just no elves on the council.
There are no elves on the council.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, they're a little annoying.
There's a minister, if you will, a warden it's called, who's the warden of the forested lands of the empire. And he's, but yeah, whatever. I'm sure his name won't come up.
No.
It's Ventus. Anyway,
Ventus.
I'm sure he won't be a factor.
Sounds
Okay, we talked about art. Oh, the other thing we're going to do at the end of the episode, and this is something we're going to do at the end of every episode, is there's Arda. And I don't know if it might have, the word might have shown up in your reading. We haven't talked about it as a group. Arda is, and by the way, if anybody watching, most of the players in this campaign are new to Burning Wheel. So this is a good campaign to watch if you're wondering what Burning Wheel is like, because we're going to talk a lot about how the
Lights just went out.
no
Yeah, I heard that click. And I'm like,
Yeah.
How we look? Are we still streaming? Are we still good?
yeah, we're
Yeah, we're still good.
We're still going.
You
We're still
got
live.
significantly darker.
Yeah, the game started. They're like serious time.
Yeah, it's the drama. It's the drama lighting. Thank you, Joe, for the drama lighting.
Thank you, drama lighting.
Drama lighting. Okay.
Whose
So
line is it anyway?
Arda is it's kind of like deed points or inspiration in D&D. It's like Arda is awarded at the end of each session, and and there's 3 types of Arda: Fate, Persona, and Deeds. Don't worry about Deeds; those are like rarely super rare at the end of like several sessions for like something super big. Fate, you can if you work towards one of your beliefs but don't resolve it, you get a fate. If you resolve a belief, like, okay, my goal was to do this thing and I did it, now it's done, you get a persona. Persona are slightly better than fate. If one of your instincts or traits creates a complication for you, then you get a fate for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because I'm not going to remember how to screw up your characters with instincts and traits, but you can and get rewarded. For the other ones, my apologies to any hard Burning Wheel fans, but we're going to do the other awards slightly different. I'm going to use an idea that I like that Sarah does in her games, Moments of Gratitude.
Oh.
And so Moments of Gratitude is that each player will thank one of the other players for something, but you have to do it in, you have to tell them why, and it can either be humor, in-character humor, like, oh my gosh, that was so funny. A skill called Right Skill, Right Time, which is like you use, some obscure thing like wagon driving to. It's like a skill. I mean, some skills just hardly ever come up, and then you used it, and it was like the right skill, the right time, and that was crazy. And Embodiment, which is super, super amazing, awesome, immersive role playing. Mold Breaker, which is going against one of your beliefs. Workhorse is just like you were the character that just did a lot of the work that we needed.
Oh my god.
And then last one is MVP, which is for doing like the super big heroic thing that was important for the thing.
Nice.
Each of you will give one of these awards, and I will too. So
Right.
Yay.
there we go. Those are the 2 things that we have to look forward to at the end of the game. My apologies to anybody who at Burning Wheel headquarters who was upset about how we're doing that, but there we go.
Got this.
I don't serve the rules serve me. There we go. There we go. Oh, woohoo, we got the light back.
Thank you, lights. Oh, there we go.
Okay, what I want to do is I want to spend a little time getting to better know your characters. I know a little bit because I've been working with each of the players offline to help create their characters, but this will be a chance for you to get to know each other's characters. The way Burning Wheel often works is that often the players kind of have their own stories going on, and then sometimes they touch each other, sometimes not.
Yeah.
And so often each of you will be audience more often, than players. So feel free to give ideas and root and enjoy the stories that we're creating. Okay, so let's get to know the characters. And I will always start on my left because that's my habit.
Hello.
Yes. Tell us about Fatima.
Fatima. Fatima is a very, I wouldn't say self-centered person. I just know that my thinking is the right path to things. Okay, so, and anyone who questions that is just wrong. And that's just how it is. And I don't want to say that I hold grudges. I just want to know that everybody will remember if they do me wrong. And eventually, they will remember and regret it. It's very simple.
Yeah.
I used to, I wasn't really, this wasn't the path I wasn't chose for myself in life. But I had to take up the mantle when my late brother Hassan, who, where he is resting now, is like, he was my idol, and I looked up to him, and I will take up the mantle that he left unceremoniously, because there is obviously treachery in this capital, because somebody like Hassan couldn't just die to a cut purse. No, not.
And that's what you were told.
Yes, that's what they said. Closed case, simple thing, and I was like, no. There's obviously people. Hassan was doing great things. Okay.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah, and he was and you've come from a house of influence.
Yes, do come from an outfit. Anybody who questions that, yes, I am his heir. I have the rightful land and the Duchess of this.
Of a duchy in Andalus.
Of Andalus.
Which, if you move aside the dragon, we'll see where Andalus is.
Andalus, right here.
Yes,
Andalus,
Andalus.
yeah.
So
sometimes we'll look at the map and figure out which part of Andalus is your duchy and get into all that sort of stuff.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
You could be near the giant ditch.
It's
Just a huge fan of the giant ditch.
a very good resource before we throw all our
your
waste.
Bodies.
But yeah. Yeah.
And you tell us about your relationships.
My relationship. So I have, it's been thrown around that I was born on the wrong side of the sheet, which is a fair assessment, but I'm not going to take the term bastard as a negative quantity. I make myself the name. I don't know. I am taken the term that usually people use to attack me and made it something of my own, building a whole, I wouldn't say army, collection of like-minded individuals who think like me.
Sounds like a militia, but yeah.
You think, this is, by the way, very common in Rouge, is for people of note to have some would call them a gang. Just basically
Like-minded individuals.
Yeah. This feels like a very Rouge thing to do.
Yeah.
Checks out.
Their affiliation, known as the Bastard Brigade. Where the apostrophe is questionable. And if you are questioning me about it, I'm like, so are you calling me a bastard, or are you calling my crew a bastard? So, you just have to really think about asking yourself, why would you ask that question?
I'm going to be wary in our interactions, I think.
Yeah. I'm going to wait to see you write down Bastards Brigade and just note the apostrophe
Yep, okay, right there.
as I thought.
Get that tattooed on me so I don't forget.
Let's do beliefs real quick.
Beliefs.
Yeah, because that is, we will talk about beliefs a lot. Beliefs are the most important thing in Burning Wheel. Beliefs are my guidepost for how I plan our sessions. I think about your beliefs, but it also means that I also expect you to think about your beliefs and be proactive about pursuing your beliefs. So that's why I push you towards having stuff that's really specific, so we know when you've accomplished it, so that we can reward you for doing so. And if you have big beliefs that are like or overarching, you can set like short-term milestones
Sure.
that progress, along the path towards accomplishing the bigger belief. So, so
I'll go ahead and go ahead. I am confident that Hassan was murdered. A conspiracy to get him out of his position of power. Okay, you don't understand. A lot of people are like, oh, happenstance. Unluck. He just got stabbed in the wrong area at the wrong time. Where was his bodyguards? Okay.
Ooh.
One.
Oh.
And then why didn't they capture the cut purse? Why is the person still at large? So, there is conspiracy here. There is a conspiracy here. Who killed my brother and why? Okay.
it's great.
And I have assigned Amira, so I have two people that you would probably see always by my side.
Oh, that's right. I'd asked you already about relationships.
I thought you meant the bigger relationship.
Yeah, no.
They're part of that relationship.
You're right. Let's go back to the question I asked you previously of who your relationships are.
So I have a deputy commander who is the logistic person of the Bastard Brigade.
Yep.
And her name is Amira, and she has no last name because, just happens to be the two right-hand people of mine. Also came from the similar background as me. They understand me. They're more like-minded individuals. So Amira, she takes care of the funds, the money in the organization. And if I say something needs to be done, she makes sure it's done.
Yeah.
And then another person, Tariq, by my side, always wears a face mask. And is always you think I'm intimidating, Tariq is way more intimidating.
Nice.
And doesn't really talk. Just kind of saying, no one's really I know what he looks like. No one else needs to know what he looks like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems fine. Not going to worry about that either.
No.
And
And then of course I have they probably wouldn't have seen it. It's another person in the prominent senator in the city, Sai. They are a friend of my brother Hassan, and they're the confidant that I am working with right now.
okay.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so now to do the beliefs.
Okay, so the first belief, yes. I've assigned Amira to dig into the criminal underbelly of the Capitol. They're just asking questions for me.
Just asking questions.
Asking questions for me. And, if so happens that more areas become clean up because of me. I mean, when I say clean up, I mean, I know what they're doing now. And,
Yeah.
yeah. It's organized.
Yeah.
I'm organizing it.
Yeah.
I'm making it cleaner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your gang is running around the city asking questions.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
No, just
yeah.
a small
yeah.
contingents.
Yeah, yeah.
I have
Yeah.
my things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Asking questions.
Yeah.
Don't
Okay.
ask me how rough. It's just asking questions.
Yeah. I think we all understand.
All right. And also, second belief, I am the rightful lord of my realm. All right. I am. Anyone who challenges my claim is challenging not my authority, but also my late brother's authority. And the memory of him and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and I know there are maybe one person, very annoying person, that is holding an old claim. But they don't matter. They have crumbling old piece of paper. And I'm going to make sure that I use my connections in the court. This is what I'm working on right now.
Right.
To designate myself in the peerage rolls. The big book that says I'm official. I am official. I just need it in this book.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's in the Dwarven Hall of Records, by the way.
Yes. Oh.
FYI.
Just in case you need to know where it's at.
Just
Yeah.
letting you know.
Just know.
Where this book that you want modified, corrected.
It is
Updated.
Yeah.
Updated.
Just letting you know, it's in the Dwarven Hall of Records. Just I'm gonna leave that there.
All right.
All right. Next belief.
The next P is a person's birth shouldn't determine their course in life. I make it a point to hiring people like myself to serve to serve in my personal retinue and staff, and I will show the world what bastards can do.
Yes.
Yes. And then for that, I have the whole retinue
Yeah.
of my crew, you
Yeah,
know, like-minded individuals.
Right.
To their first priority, of course, there is a group of bandits terrorizing the trade circuits.
Nabatean trade cities.
Nabatean trade cities, you know, and we're just going to convince them that they don't want to do that anymore. Maybe if I get more hands because of that, it's fine.
And so let me clarify something that might be of interest here as to how this ties in. This ties into your consul position, which is consul of public safety.
Yes.
Which has two arms to it. One is policing, which is, and the other is prevention of natural or mitigating the effects of natural disasters.
Yes.
Right. And so you advise. I mean, that's somebody else's word. You advise kingdoms on how to improve these two things.
Yes.
Yeah. And if they're not doing a good job, you go in there and fix it yourself.
I'll fix it. I have people. I have very capable people.
Yep. I get it.
Yes.
All right. I think we have a great picture of Fatima. Thank you.
Yay.
All right. Megan, let's go to your character.
All right. Sorry, I'm taking one more note about you. Don't worry about it.
Nothing important. Don't worry. That's all right.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So first of all, kind of like a general backstory of your character, like she did. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we haven't discussed this, John. So
Yeah.
let's just do this together.
Yeah. Let's do it.
My name is Galina Volkova. I was born in the city and kind of like floated around for a while. Couldn't quite figure out what I wanted to do. Liked art, was a painter, and then kind of discovered that really I wanted more like structure and rigidity to things than like the life of an artist, right? And so she got a job as a clerk, basically using her skills, reading and writing, and sort of started shifting more into
You really wanted to do art, but the fact that you could read and write was probably the main requirement that got you the job.
Yeah.
Most people can't, by the way. I mean, the most of the people that you guys know because you're in the world, the wealthy and the powerful do, but like your average person on the street probably doesn't know how to read and write.
Right. So she started moving more into like bureaucratic roles to get the sort of like regimented life that she craved in that way. Like she really thrives with some sort of structure, and basically worked her way up the ranks until she became, she's then switched to scribe, same sort of skill set, right? And then she basically just like I imagine her going into each position she filled and being like, no, and like just very much like cutting the fat and being like, no, this is going to go here because it's going to be like that much faster to grab it, and then sort of getting promoted. They're like, wow, you really get a lot done, and getting promotions that way just through.
Yeah, for sure.
Basically like writing the book as she goes, which will come into play later, literally. And so eventually worked her way all the way into the imperial consul, obviously over years and years, and still though like maintained this love of art, which is kind of at odds with that need for structure, but found a sort of perfect outlet in cartography, and would not only just, make the maps, but she would take real pride in making beautiful maps for the emperor, but then like getting the sort of like, what do you call that? Like a job pyramid? I don't know. I'm an actor.
Hierarchy?
Like one of those things, it's like this shape and there's like a boss at the top. But yeah,
The org chart.
Yeah, she would take great pride in her work, and then could hire other people to sort of do the more menial mapping, but it also then satisfied that need to get everything documented and really define the borders and make sure that there are as many people out there with this knowledge as possible. It makes it harder to challenge the sort of status quo and things, and so has really thrived in that setting.
Cool.
Yeah.
And okay, so let's talk about your relationships and beliefs, whichever order you want to do that, or back and forth, however it makes sense to you.
Well, I can do, I don't know. I guess
Let's do
relationships
Yeah,
should be
yeah, start with
pretty
the- yep.
easy. Obviously, Tiamir,
Yep.
Boguslav Tiamir, is like my guy.
Well, you both are Russian.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And so, yeah. And
Yeah,
so
and-
he's your grand prince. I mean,
Right.
you know.
So I have
yeah.
a great allegiance to him, in a little bit of a pickle coming up here, because I don't think that maybe he would be the best next emperor. We'll get to that later.
We will.
Yeah. But I do truly love and respect him. I just
Yeah.
think that there's a
Yeah.
better path. And
Yeah.
he would be so much like better able to focus on, he already has a huge job, and he needs to be the Prince of Root. Like, that's enough. That's enough.
Yeah.
Focus
Yeah.
on the things you have. You don't need the whole entire world.
Well, you know, if he was emperor, though, there could be a new grand prince of Rouge.
know what? We'll get into it.
Who would that be? Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get it. We'll
Yeah,
save
yeah.
it. Save it. Save it
Yeah,
for
yeah.
stream. We always
Yeah.
say, save it. Oh, we're on stream. Never mind. Yeah.
Save it for the active role play. How about
Yeah,
that?
there you go.
But yeah, so obviously big relationship there. I have a younger brother named Fyodor, who I got a job. He wanted to be a sailor, and so I got him a job charting the seas. And so he's out sailing a lot. I bought him a villa back home. I just am determined to take care of him, and he actually does like a good job. So he's around, but not like around a ton,
Right.
because
right.
he's off in the seas.
Now, there's a rule, by the way,
Yeah.
that comes with relationships you should all know
okay.
about, is that you have the right as a player
yeah.
to access your relationship, to access your relationships. It's a privilege. So, you know, if you want him to be out sailing around, obviously that can get in the way of that. But,
Sure. He's back sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see when.
So certainly the first time you want to talk to him, it will turn out that coincidentally he's in town.
Yeah, great. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. So,
Okay. We have people who do
and you
magic.
could always
I'll
give him a
send
different
some
job
sort
if
of
he's
magical
useful in
wizard.
some way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I also have an uncle who basically I was like deathbed bound by my parents to take care of as my mother's brother. And she was like, take care of your Uncle Vanya, which is a joke for my theater friends. She's like, take care of Uncle Vanya. He is an alcoholic. He has a distillery. He drinks more of his product than he sells. He's back home in Hakamanesh, but I obviously try and keep tabs on him and try and make sure he's taken care of. Occasionally try and get people around him to try and get him to slow down, to mixed success.
And on the topic of access too, you know, another common thing is writing letters.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in fact, as wealthy individuals, you have access to really fast geckons for pretty fast messages, and nubbles. If you ever want to do like a overnight message like FedEx, let me know.
Okay.
I'll explain what the nubbles are.
Okay, great. No magical, like instant communication, or yes?
You don't have any. I'm
Okay.
not saying it doesn't exist.
Sure,
but,
yeah.
That's
That's-
something you'd have to work for.
Yep, okay.
Figure it out.
Just
Teleportation's the
checking.
same way.
Yeah.
It exists.
Teleportation is possible.
Yeah.
But it's a lot rarer than in D&D.
Sure.
Say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
And
oh.
last?
Yeah. What was that?
Yeah,
Did
go
you say
ahead.
last?
Yeah. Last but not least.
So
Well,
this
maybe
kind of
least.
plays into one of my beliefs. I am kind of a weirdo and like not the most socially adroit, and so I have trouble making friends. I being Galena. Megan has lots of friends.
I think we all knew she must be talking about her character.
So many friends, you guys, it's fine. Anyway, so one of her only people that she really like talks to regularly and feels a connection with is her chambermaid, Yelena. I feel that she's my bestie. I don't know that she would agree. Obviously, there is a power imbalance at play.
Well,
But yeah,
Unless you took the discount for a hateful relationship,
Yeah.
these relationships, it's sacrosanct with the rules. These are all people who love you. I mean, like you, you know.
Oh, no, I don't think
you
she
could-
hates me.
Yeah, you could screw it up.
sure. I don't know that if she hates me.
No.
Out of
No,
game.
she's-
Don't know if she loves me or dislikes me. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, then, if she's
my bestie in
if she
game.
does love you, or it hasn't been expressed
Yeah.
at this point. How's that? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if she's like, man, you're my bestie too, or if she's like, you're my best friend. I don't have another one back in the village.
No,
Great.
she's genuinely your friend.
Great.
I think the rules oblige me to that.
Okay,
That.
Yep. Yeah.
cool.
Your relationships are the only. That's why I encourage you all to take relationships.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the only time you have something really good happening for you. Otherwise, my job is to have bad things happen to you. Not always. Not always. Not always.
Roses.
But
Yeah.
it's the only NPCs you can actually trust as long as you don't screw it up.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay.
That Tiki Tirmir was. That's interesting. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have.
Okay.
relationship.
So your let's talk about your beliefs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I firmly believe that pursuing knowledge is important and it's all well and good, but it kind of is meaningless if it just gets lost. So codifying and recording knowledge, very important.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to that end, I'm going to write a book.
Yeah.
Remember the book thing? It came back. All right. Yeah, I'm going to write a book. It's going to be called, as of right now, working title, Chasing Borders, a treatise on keeping up with the shifting borders of an empire. Fascinating stuff.
Ooh, wow.
So that's one. I mean, there's not more to say about that. It's an instant bestseller. My next belief is that, again, she's very logical. She knows that interpersonal relationships are important. She kind of wants them, but she knows, like, logically, they help a person grow, right? Sometimes it's useful to just have someone to bounce ideas off of, whatever. So she wants a friend or a romantic partner. We kind of discussed this. We can
Yeah. We can leave that ambiguous.
honestly could go either way. Just someone, and I imagine her having like a checklist of like, here are the things that someone needs to be my friend. If they also tick these
I'd
boxes,
really like to see the checklist, by the way.
maybe romance. Yeah, and if they don't tick enough of them, she just immediately is like, okay, well that can. And ideally, it'd be someone in the Senate at least already, because that would just be super convenient in terms of time management. You know? Yeah.
Yeah. Or someone on the
so-
council, right?
So that would be, oh my gosh, yeah, dream, literal dream. Yeah. So,
Or it could be somebody's aide, too.
yeah.
Like, you know, because so the council meetings, by the way, are, well, that's the room. It's in the artwork. That is a room in the Imperial Palace. And on days that the Council of Consuls is in session, you all go there. But everybody goes there with the retinue. I mean, you take your bodyguard, you take Amira, you know, Amira and Tariq, et cetera, and probably some others in your staff that you don't have that aren't identified as relationships, but they're people that are loyal to you, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody does that, and so there's like a huge hall where all those people hang out.
Sure, mingle.
Why? You know, and leading up to the actual meeting, there's lots of politicking that happens in this big hall, and at some point, all the you have to leave Tariq behind. All the consuls go into the room, and it's just the consuls and any guests that have been approved. Anyway,
Great. So one of them, as long as etiquette permitting, depending on where they're at.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
Yeah.
definitely a consul member is going to be better.
Yeah. So
yeah.
again, it's varying check marks.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
So to that end, I don't know how to make that like a belief statement exactly.
Oh,
So much as like I'm going
yeah.
to find I'm going to make a friend or
I will make a friend.
a romantic partner
Yeah.
of someone in the council.
Yeah, that's a good start.
Okay, great.
That's a great start. Yeah. Yeah.
Incoming.
Yeah.
It's gonna be super romantic, obviously.
It'll become even better of a belief when we identify who that is. Like,
Yeah.
who are you after?
Great, I love it.
Okay.
Yep. Gotta tick some boxes.
Last belief.
Last belief is that Leon, right? Leanne?
Yeah, Empress
Leanne or Leon?
Leon.
Leon Cordova should be the next empress. I don't know if it's a gendered title. Anyway, because I am not super confrontational, and so as much as I like the job security of shifting borders, I think that there would be less of an upheaval just in general, leading to, all sorts of bad stuff, including, people die in wars. That's not great. Anyway, so the cost would be too great to try and attempt a regime change in the midst of the already crazy upheaval of being like, all right, God Emperor is dead.
Yeah.
So I'm going to convince Tiomir to support her claim to the throne.
Yep. Great. Excellent.
Yeah.
Fabulous. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Marcus, your turn.
Yes. Okay, and we go in. You want just the kind of a rough description of the character?
First of all, kind of tell us about your character, like where it's
What's your name?
almost like
Allie.
recapping your life path. Although,
absolutely.
yeah,
Okay.
or just or
Ooh, I
yeah.
feel like I did that
So
one.
I am
did
from.
it
My
right.
name is Ollie, or
Yeah.
which is short for Olke, but mostly goes by Ollie.
Okay,
Ollie
okay.
is the name he prefers to go
Ollie,
by.
Ollie.
46 years old, was born noble, much like Bonsai was outed as a bastard, then worked his way up to Lord, Baron, Viscount, advisor to the court, and all the way to the Imperial Consul, picking himself up by his bootstraps and making it happen, despite his circumstances.
No one had the balls to tell him that he said Viscount every time he introduced himself.
Exactly.
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 Great.
To give you a description, he's tall, physically intimidating, with gray hair and an air of danger.
Ooh.
Nice.
He's handsome as hell.
Yes,
Drop dead gorgeous.
that is the trait, drop dead gorgeous. I didn't pay for the drop dead gorgeous trait.
Very
check.
good.
That's a check,
Put
okay.
it on the checklist.
I guess.
It's like a low priority check, but it's a check for sure.
Yeah. Peter, is it okay if it's another player character? Absolutely.
And then traits, right?
You can do traits. I didn't ask for traits, but
Oh,
if you want,
okay.
if there's something there you want
I
to
guess
point
it's not
out.
really anything, yeah.
Also,
I can't remember
I would say that you are, let's say, Turkish, but more specifically Summation.
Summation.
Yep.
Summation.
Which is inspired by Hittite culture of, of Hittite culture.
Which is why the name Olke, which actually is Turkish for luck.
Oh,
There you
nice.
Oh.
So relationships.
Yes, relationships, the complicated family that he comes from. He has a sister, a powerful sister. The brother and sister pretty much rule over the nobility, what is our families. The sister is named Yaz. I love my sister. She loves me. She's a very good person. I like her. Now we got to talk about my brother, Naz. My brother Naz hates me and is very powerful. But it's okay. I hate him too. He's the real bastard. I have a powerful relationship with Leon Cordova. I very much believe in her, and I think...
Note to Sarah, we can separate these two in future sessions.
Yeah, you're going to cause some trouble. We're going to make this happen. We're going to solve this
yeah.
whole thing. And then I also have a relationship with a character that is unnamed because you don't need to know the name of someone who's giving you secrets that you both can get in trouble for.
Nice.
We're going to fix that.
Yeah.
So this character is like a gossip socialite,
trying to find,
or
like, I think initially I wrote the word rumor monger just because I couldn't think of
okay,
anything.
rumor monger. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
someone who is able to get information that I might be able to use. It might not be like on the up and up. It's a minor whatever relationship. So like I don't know how that would work exactly.
How good they are at it.
Yeah, like
Yes,
they're
sir.
just someone to give me like a like kind of what I'm not hearing. Then I can make some decisions maybe based off of that. Just someone that keeps me on the up and up of what's going on.
Okay.
But not
Okay.
necessarily on the up and up.
Exactly.
Eh.
I mean,
Right.
no one should really
Is
know
it
that
part
I'm doing
of?
this.
Is it
It's
somebody
forbidden. It's forbidden.
completely? It's forbidden.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's a forbidden because it's actually going to get me in trouble. I think it will get me and them in trouble. I have no
Well,
description
one
of-
idea that comes to my mind right off the bat is somebody who's on the staff of another console.
See that's.
Better not be.
Spy, spy, spy.
So
Unless it is,
Conspiracy.
Yeah,
that's
so
actually
there's-
be kind of convenient.
So
Check.
pick a console member who's not a PC. I think in this
Okay.
case it'd be best if it's not a player character.
Okay.
Pick a console that is on the list. You have to do it right this second,
Okay,
but come back to it
I
after
can't
we
pick
talk.
Taylor Swift anymore.
You can.
It's Thomas A. Swift now, so I'm a
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
bummed, but
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
T-Swift.
Yeah, you could pick Toma.
Okay, cool. So I'll pick one of these.
Yeah,
and-
one of those.
and they'll-
But let's talk about your
Yeah.
beliefs, and then when you're out of the spotlight, you can look through that list and come up with somebody and tell me who you pick.
Sounds good. So I'm still kind of working on my beliefs because they're going to be affected by today's game a little bit. So they will not be.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We're giving Marcus a little accommodation. He hasn't had we haven't had a chance to collaborate on the beliefs much yet.
So my first belief is I believe in the power of the Cordovan bloodline, and will do everything in my power to ensure that they remain in control. I could probably push that over to Leanne, but right now
Yeah.
I just Cordova, just a general blanket to the Cordova family.
Yeah. Okay.
Trying to make a dynasty happen.
The next one is. Okay.
If you don't have anything to add from what
I just
you
didn't write it
had.
into the thing. Yeah, just pivotal in keeping the empire intact. I believe that I am
that's right.
pivotal in keeping the empire intact. The other one I need to work on.
Okay. Yep. Great. That's right. And by the way, if you think of something in play, and you say, "Oh, I want a belief about that," and come up with it and do it, totally game for
Oh,
that.
cool.
Is there
Yeah.
is there a limit to how many we can have, or is it?
Yeah, you have a limit of
Just the
3.
three is, okay.
She's got a weird fourth one because
Special.
of something, but yeah, generally
Because
it's
I'm
3.
legitimate, yes.
And but you can change your beliefs, and my guidelines on that are you have a broad ability to change your beliefs between sessions, or like in this case, adding a belief, or if a belief gets resolved, you need a new
Okay.
one. If you during a session, if it makes sense based on the role playing that you would change your beliefs, go for it.
Okay.
Okay, but yeah,
Cool.
that's great. Okay, so we have we're getting to know these characters, and that's fantastic. And we're going to do a little bit of.
Do you need my instincts, by the way?
I don't need them for
Okay,
this.
cool.
Yeah, we're not going to go through the
Good.
entire character sheet. Yeah, but instincts are great, but want to get to some play.
Let's get to it.
Okay, so one of the things that we can do here is now because I didn't know your beliefs coming into this, I had a little trouble coming with much interesting for you, but we'll
make it happen.
think of something here. So I have some ideas here of how I can play to some of your beliefs. In fact, I have one about you already, so this is good. Let's see. I'm just gonna. Okay, I'm just writing a little quick note. Okay, I'm at that age where I forget stuff so easily. Got to write stuff down. Apologize for looking at my computer all the time. So I have some ideas, but it's also great in this game for players can be proactive, and you can just say, "Hey, I want to go chase my belief right now. I have an idea what I want to do," and there are some great tools in Burning Wheel that you're going to grow to love that let you do this, okay? That help you do this, okay? No, seriously,
No,
I'm
I
not
know
being
your eyes
sarcastic.
just got like a little crazy. I love it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true. They often do. But I'm talking about Chaldea or Burning Wheel
Yeah.
or
Or both, in this
just
instance.
role playing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just
both.
can't help it. It's like one of those is your circles skill attribute. You can basically invent an NPC and talk to them right now.
Nice.
And that is basically you make a circles test. Every test has an obstacle. We haven't really talked about tests, but you've had your reading assignments. I assume everybody's read. But basically, the flow, just real briefly, the flow in Burning Wheel is kind of like in any RPG. We go back and forth. We have narrative. At some point, you try and do something that I think you need to roll dice for that. That's called a test. And a test has two elements, intent and task. Intent is what are you trying to get out of this test? Like what's the result you're looking for? And task is how are you doing it, which is usually to test a skill that you have, possibly an attribute or a stat, kind of in that order. Most of the time it's testing skills. Attributes are fairly common. Stats are kind of rare. It's hard to get your stats up. Tests are how you improve your skills or attributes or stats. And you need a number of tests that are either difficult or challenging. If it's something with a really low number, a skill that you don't have many points in, you also need what are called routine tests. And every time you get a test, think of it as a gift.
Okay.
Like you get to roll the dice, it's a gift because chances are you're going to get credit. Whether you win or lose the test, you get credit for the test.
Oh, great. Love
There are
that.
a couple of exceptions, and I've never been able to successfully memorize what those exceptions are, but there's a couple of those exceptions. I know one of them, for it to count, resources and faith are two of them where to advance it, for it to count, you have to succeed at the test. But most tests, win or lose. So, circle tests, you get to invent an NPC and talk to them. And you have to roll. If you fail to roll, then maybe you don't invent the NPC. Maybe they don't like you. Maybe they have a hidden agenda. It gives me permission to needle something into the situation that might not be as helpful as you want it. Like, so you might meet the NPC, everything might look fine, but as a player, you know you failed to roll, so you know I'm up to something.
So we had a suggestion from
Oh,
chat.
good.
Annoy Peter with tests as early and often as possible.
Yeah, I love tests, so you're not going to be able to annoy me with tests. Sorry. Another thing that you can do to proactively pursue your storyline is what's called a wise. You probably have some skills that say something -wise. And by the way, you can invent any topic and create a wise. Wises are something that you are smart in. Not only is it like a knowledge roll, like can I know this thing? It's also create campaign fiction, like create world building.
Okay.
So like with Roadwise or something, there's a secret road that goes through the woods over here. Oh, how did you know that? Because I'm Roadwise, dude. Duh. Right. And so again, you have to test and succeed. If you fail, maybe there's a secret road, but it's ruled by bandits or something. Anyway. So also, there was something else I was going to say, but well, that's probably enough. I think of other things. Cool. So if you have something that you would like to do, go ahead, throw it out here, and we'll do it. If not, I'll throw something at you. I'd like to give you first serve. Any one of you. Yeah, anybody.
So, right now,
Yeah.
do we?
And
Where?
the emperor hasn't died.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Great.
it's wherever you happen to be.
Okay.
Yeah, you can be wherever you want.
All right. What time of day is it?
It's up to you.
Whatever you want.
What about
Yeah.
that? We have to probably agree on what time of day, right?
No, say like whatever you want.
We didn't
Time of day to
agree
be.
Okay. Great.
You got an idea?
Nope. Just wondering where I'm at. Painting a mental
day is it?
picture.
Right.
It's sometime in the days or
10 a.m.
nights before the emperor dies.
This is what's happening. So what is that? Dawn.
Okay.
It's
perfect.
actually dawn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Time.
Can I throw out something?
Yeah,
then,
sure.
If it's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I'm pretty
So
busy determining the time of day. So.
let's go ahead and say this is later on in night.
Okay. Night.
A lot of the administrative ability, like a lot of tasks that I needed to get done is getting done.
Okay.
This is the last checkpoint of the day of just checking in what Amira, her questioning was like in this sector. There's different sectors. I want to be
Right.
thorough.
Right. Uh-huh.
And
Okay.
she went through.
So where are we?
We are in.
Now we have a couple options, by the way.
Yes.
You have, if you want it, an office in the palace as a consul. Or you have, there's some place where your staff probably comes together.
Yes.
It could be your villa in Saratof. I think you have a villa in Saratof.
Yes.
Right?
Wait. Yes, I do have
Yeah.
a villa.
So-
Hold on. Let me
so
see the.
Those are options for you.
Yes. Let's just say this is in. Well, how far is the villa then?
From the palace?
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, it's in the.
It's in the city.
Yeah, it's in the city. So
Okay.
a couple hours probably.
I'm gonna go ahead and just say it's in my castle. I have a castle.
Your villa is a castle.
Yeah, it's a
great.
castle with attendants and.
Yeah, it's a
Nice.
castle. If it's a castle, it's probably
Yeah.
got.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a whole staff.
It's just
and,
you
yeah.
scan the street and all of a sudden there's like a gothic. It gets darker when you look over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the architecture in Saratof is really
Oh well,
weird.
no,
anyway.
actually,
Yeah,
so
right.
because I
And it
have
just
this.
says, I'm legitimate.
Is this actually in my house that's far away? I don't know if this one.
Let's see.
I can't remember. I put it down as like I have a castle. So maybe,
Well,
maybe if
I mean,
that's the
you
other
could have a
house?
castle here, but you would certainly have a castle back home where your duchy is.
Oh, let's just say a
so,
villa then.
so you have you didn't buy a villa, so you could be renting.
Yes.
Or you could live in the palace.
Oh, I could live in the palace.
Yeah. Sure.
I don't need people knowing my business.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
not that
That's a
I
lot of
have
scrutiny.
anything to
Right.
hide.
Yeah. Okay. So you're renting. You could be renting an apartment in town, or maybe you're thinking about buying a villa here.
I bought it.
You know, right?
Oh no, I should. I have to.
Yeah, you haven't bought it.
I haven't bought it yet. I'm planning on buying it.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I think. Yeah, I think you're in the process of buying a villa.
Yeah.
How's that? You're
Yeah.
renting it right now. And
I'm
you're-
renting it
and
right
you want to
now.
own it. So
Yeah.
yeah, you're tired of dealing with the landlord.
I don't like the land. I mean, the landlord and I have disagreements.
Yeah.
And he's
Hard to imagine.
They're going to be very, very, very. After I get talked to about discounts, they were going to
Yeah.
be really willing to sell to me.
Yeah.
No reason.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Right. Okay. So Amira comes in to report. Looks like she has she's very disheveled. There's some. It looks like she tried to clean up, but she missed a spot. There's some blood on her neck, and on her. Would she wear armor to come see you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, are you wearing armor?
Always. This is my nighttime armor.
Okay, it's your nighttime armor. Perfect.
Yeah, that's, so if you want to know,
Great. It says never nude.
so that's actually so. If you've seen me in the council, parties, everything, I am always in armor
Okay.
with a
That's great.
Yeah,
great.
always there. It's formal. Like when I have the cape on with the medals, that's my formal armor.
When you go into council, you leave the sword at the
Yeah.
door.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
But I
For
still have.
obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when the emperor's there.
Yeah, when the
and
emperor's
double
there.
especially when he's not.
Yes.
Okay, so Amira's comes to report. My lady.
So how was you just right there?
Oh yeah.
Was it stressful today?
Yeah, it was. It got a little rough today. We were continuing our search of Forge Park, and it's just. I mean, it's controlled by the dwarven outlaws, outcasts, and gangs. And yeah, we got in a bit of a scuffle.
Do we have? Okay, that makes sense. I'm sorry. Thank you. Here, have like a glass. I offer a glass of wine. Relax a bit.
Okay.
We're
Yeah.
for the most part. I
She
see.
goes to take off her helmet and then
Yeah.
kind of glances at you. Yeah, and takes off her helmet
Yeah.
and accepts the wine.
Yeah.
And it's like,
We really do need to work on getting people in the dwarven.
Yeah, if you want me to continue doing questioning in Forge Park, I think we're going to need more troops. The gangs, I mean, we kind of stand out there, because we're not dwarves.
Yeah.
And they're really strong and powerful because they're dwarves.
Because they're dwarves.
And they're outcasts and they're really mad about it.
I mean, I could see maybe we, instead of just fighting.
Maybe go to the Elven sector next? No, just joking.
Maybe Tariq.
I mean, just go back to doing bars on the waterfront. I mean, that's...
Yeah, that might be a little bit easier.
And
we might need to work slowly with the dwarves.
And I'm still getting a lot of questions about, what sort of questions we're supposed to be asking.
Well,
I mean, like who? I mean, we need more than like. Have you seen Hosan? He died. What, 13,
I know this
13 years ago.
13, yes, the
Yeah.
case is a little bit old.
Yeah,
But there's
I mean,
always-
It'd be
so
great
that's-
if we
this is
had
the
like something
perfect-
more specific to work on.
Well, you've already searched the main area where it
Yeah.
happened,
Yeah,
asked questions of the people.
yeah. Well, yeah, yeah.
I feel like we do need to go ahead and figure out. They may be retired by now, but I'm sure the people who wrote down the account is still around.
Yeah, but where do we look? I don't know. Like, so let's see if
Yeah.
we can. Let's see if we can get a something that you want. What do you want to happen in this scene? What do you want her to do? Like, do you want to try and? I mean, one obvious thing is you could try to tell her, no, just go back to the Dwarven Forge Park and deal with it. You could try and get her to do that. You could see if you could get more troops to go in with her.
I feel like we're maybe handling the dwarves in a little bit of wrong. How about you can go ahead and arrange with the one most powerful dwarf, like just have an invitation for us to have a chat. You know,
The most powerful dwarf, like the gang, like figure out which gang is the strongest. And
Yes. Well, just you know, you don't have to ask rough questions. I'm sure the dwarves like shiny things, and I'm sure if we present them,
hey, you know what they like? They like alcohol.
ah,
I mean, if you were to spring for some really good stuff, that would probably help.
that might. And you know, sometimes maybe I'm too harsh with the whip.
I mean, I will do whatever you want me to. Of course, the problem is that we don't have any friends there. We stand out. We show up as a bunch of ruffians in armor, and we're humans. Like we need a contact. If you want to know more about what's happening in the Dwarfland, we need to get.
I agree.
We need a friend on the inside. We need like a gang member. I don't know how I get a gang. I don't even know how to identify which gang is the most powerful gang, and then how do I get to the leader? How do I get that leader to you? I
Well-
just feel a little out of my league here.
No,
My lady.
I'll come over close. Just calm her down. And I'll go ahead and I understand. This is why I put you in charge. I believe in you. And I believe you can get this done. And I think your ideas are right. We do need to loosen tongues with a little bit of spirits, and
Yeah.
I will allocate some funds
Yeah, yeah.
to
Okay.
help you with that.
Yeah.
You can start off a little small. Maybe we can take our times with this. Like you said, it's been 13 years.
Okay.
People can slip up in 13 years.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and arrange some funds
Yeah,
to
yeah.
get the
Okay, so I'm
Tricks.
I'm thinking that you do have. I mean, you have a bastard brigade.
yes.
I'm thinking there's a dwarf bastard
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
somewhere, like somewhere in your brigade, somewhere like
We're-
stationed,
already.
maybe
Yeah.
in another kingdom somewhere. But like, hey, what if we recall Gornak and get him back to Saratof and get him to help me in there?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, it does make sense. We have so many.
Okay.
So yeah,
So-
we have a handful of here and there, and
Yeah. So you're gonna so you're gonna do that. You're gonna get some whiskey, and you're giving her a pep talk. I'm gonna give you the gift of a roll on the pep talk. So it's a persuasion.
yes.
Yeah, I think a
This
persuasion
is the
check.
first roll at our table tonight.
And
Wait, so I roll 4.
how many? What is your persuasion skill?
4.
It's 4. Okay.
Yes.
So you have 4 dice. You also have. Now we haven't done tests, so yeah, this is the
Yes.
thing. So yes, you always have dice equal to your exponent of the skill. So intent is to inspire her to work harder and go in and basically be, more. Don't worry, you can do it.
You can do it.
Inspire her.
Yes.
Right? Hip her up. I think that's inspiration. Why not? It could also be command if you have that.
I have command, but I want to do persuasion more.
Okay.
Because
You're trying
I'm
to
not
talk-
trying to command her to do it. I'm just persuading her because I know
yeah.
she can do this.
Yeah. So you're trying to talk
And
her
then
up
if
a little
she
bit.
needs to send out for some of our dwarven
Yeah.
friends
Yeah.
in other areas,
she's going to get Gornak.
Yeah,
back.
Gornak.
Yeah, with your permission, she's going to have Gornak transfer here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All he was doing was teaching people how to prepare barriers for like flooding in underground mines and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. And then you'll get, and so anyway, yes, the task is persuasion. You're rolling 4 dice because that's your exponent in persuasion.
Yes.
Now you can do what's called a fork, which is, and so what I
know
recommend
about fork.
doing
Yes.
is, whenever you do a skill, look at the skill and find out what the forks are for that skill, and do you have any of them? Persuasion, the forks are falsehood, haggling, soothing platitudes, and ugly truth.
I have haggling.
Okay, then you get another die for haggling.
Yes. And then,
Okay.
so wait. So what was it?
Falsehood, haggling,
Haggling.
soothing platitudes, and ugly truth.
I only
You
have
probably
haggling.
don't have soothing platitudes. I think that's the one that's orcs only.
Yeah. That's all I have. So I got
Okay.
one more.
That's another die. And your obstacle is the will of her.
Yes.
So I'm going to give you that's an ob of 4, which is pretty hard to hit with 5 dice. But you can always be thinking about advantage dice are called. That's kind of like, mongering for an advantage, like, hey, but Peter, blah, 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 right? I'm pretty strict with that, but if it makes sense, I'll give it. So the fact that it's a relationship and you're her boss.
I'm her boss. Yes.
And she wants to please you, I would call that an advantage.
Okay.
So you can add 1 more die for that.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Now, by the way, there's some weird. Let's see. Let me look at what you have. Is this is persuasion with a persuasion with a skill 4?
yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now, there's a lot of gamemanship here that you may choose to engage in or not, and that is you're trying to get tests
Yes.
to advance your skill. So on page 42 of the Holy Scriptures, the Orthodoxy,
Oh,
On page 42. It's,
it tells you what tests you need to advance the skill.
Okay.
Okay, and you'll notice if you look at the 4. Let's see. This is test required to advance stats. You
Yeah.
want test to advance
Skills.
skills.
So four,
Four.
and 2.
You need
2 or
4
1.
routine tests, and either 2 difficult tests or 1 challenging test. And so sometimes you might decide not to accept a die that I would otherwise let you because you want a harder test. Anyway, but you need all of these tests, so you're probably just going to take the ones you give you.
I
Okay?
think, because it's a
Yeah.
4. She has a 4 will, so it's going to be a little bit harder.
With 6 die versus an ob 4,
Yes.
it's a hard test, but it's considered routine.
Yeesh.
And you need
Really?
routine tests. Now, the other part of a test is that
Well,
I
if I
am.
minus 1, then that would make it difficult.
That's right. The other part, by the way, is I am obligated, before you roll, because you can back out, I'm obligated to tell you what the penalty is for failure.
Okay.
The penalty for failure, in this case, is that she will be inspired beyond how far she should be inspired. And she will put herself at
Risk?
more, she will put herself at more risk than maybe she should.
uh-oh.
If I fail it.
If you fail. You can cancel, you can call off the test if you want, or you could say, hey, that sounds like a great complication. That sounds like a great story element. Have my one of my relationships get banged up by the dwarves or worse. There will not be any sexual assault. We know
Oh,
that.
no, I know that. I was just trying to think, I really like Amira. And I haven't, she's my deputy. And I don't want anything super bad to happen.
Good. Then I'm doing my job. That's what I should do. That's burning wheel right here.
Oh.
Yeah. So come on, make a call, girl.
You know what?
Oh, also, don't forget, you may have some art. By the way, you all start with 1 persona and 3 fate.
Yes.
Okay? I highly recommend you never spend your last persona. Because
Okay.
if something really bad happens to you, like death sort of thing, you can use persona to avoid death.
Oh, that's a good thing to avoid.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with that.
And I would love for you to be attached enough to
And
your characters that
then
you don't want them to die.
For successes, it has to roll 5 or higher, right?
4, 5, or 6.
4, 5, or 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you can use a fate point. You have 3, so you should use those any chance you get. If you roll at least 1 6, you can roll a fate to turn on exploding sixes,
Oh.
which will give you another die for every 6.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and because this is gonna be fun, I like gambling. I'm gonna take a chance, make this difficult.
Oh my gosh! After that, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then,
So you got 5 dice.
5 dice.
Yep. And
Yep.
you need 4 successes.
Yep.
Do you have to decide for something like exploding sixes before you roll, or can you roll and then?
A persona, but I forgot to mention what a persona can do for you. A persona can give you another die,
Okay.
but you have to declare that before you roll.
Okay.
The fate, you can wait until you roll and see if you roll any 6s, and then spend the fate for exploding 6s if you roll the 6.
All right, because you know what? It'd be fun to have an altercation with the dwarves in any case.
Of course it would
Because
be.
they must be hiding this conspiracy.
If the records are there,
They're
then
dwarves. Of course they're hiding the conspiracy.
Yeah. All right, please.
All right, let's do it.
Amir, I believe in you. Come on, Amir.
Okay.
Oh no.
1, 2, 2 successes, and no 6s.
No 6s. Ooh.
Okay. So you failed the roll,
Yeah.
which is there's a rule in Burning Wheel called fail forward, which is that you may get what you want even when you fail a roll, but with some sort of twist.
Yep.
And you do get what you want.
I
She
do.
is inspired and determined and grits her teeth and with a renewed sense of loyalty and admiration
Oh,
for
boy.
you.
Amira, no.
And she's going back
Amira.
tonight. She's going back tonight.
Tonight.
She's
Oh.
going back tonight.
It's fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
I made this choice. It's
Back
fine.
during the era that's nocturnal for dwarves. Dwarves are not. Anyway, yeah, she's going to go back tonight and
It's fine.
and find some answers. All right.
Good luck.
There we go. Excellent. Our first test. Well done.
Yay.
You failed gloriously.
That's good, Amira.
And now
Good luck.
now there's a story going on. Now so you see how this works with your beliefs. The story. My obligation is to help you engage with the story you want your characters to pursue. So.
I'll put a sad face by her name. See how bad.
Oh no.
How bad it is.
Let's see here real quick. It is 7:20. Should we do a short bio break and then come back? Or yeah, sure.
Yeah.
7:20.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay. We are going to do a short bio break and then come back and get a little vignette in for Marcus and Megan.
All right.
Yay!
All right.
we're back. Hi.
Everything's great.
I just so happy with that test. I thought it was so much fun, and I thought it really nicely illustrated the whole process of a test and how well it can go for the DM.
Yep.
All right. So, Megan or Marcus, do you have an idea of how you would like to do something, or want me to throw something at you?
Do you have an idea?
Oh no, I'm going to get something thrown at me.
Okay,
If you got something, please go
No,
ahead.
my only thought was that, in my spare time, I'm spending basically all my spare time like working on my book. So it's not like an exciting setting if you have something to throw at me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you have life going on around you and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Well, I do have a little
Throw.
something.
Okay.
So I thought that I would mention that there's a couple of people in your life who are not relationships, but they're people that you know.
Okay.
Okay. One of them is a guy named Lazaretti Gold.
Lazaretti Gold?
Yeah.
Hell of a name.
I love it. Okay.
Okay.
Lazaretti Gold.
And
Hey, I'm Lazaretti.
by the way, you'll see there's a seal on this map
Oh.
that says certified Lazaretti Gold.
I
He
thought that there was like a seal in the ocean. I was like, that's weird.
That's what we keep Lazaretti's gold. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So-
Yeah, got it.
So now, when you came to your position as Imperial Consul, these maps had been made
Okay.
years before. Now, the maps and Lazaretti, this is something that happened like very early in the Empire. The maps that you're looking at.
Okay.
There are mistakes on the map, like the map of Samaria has Sheol on the wrong side of the river. I mean, just
embarrassing.
things like that.
Yeah.
So the maps definitely need some updates. But Lazaretti Gold is a well-known cartographer who's works for you.
Oh,
He's
great.
part of, he's staff
Okay.
cartographer. He's like the lead staff cartographer
Okay.
for your organization. He's old now. He's been around a long time. He was an experienced cartographer way back, 35 years ago when he made these maps.
Okay. He's like the Rand McNally of
Yeah, yeah,
the whole
Yeah.
like continent or like of the empire.
Well, of the world in the
Yeah.
eclectic but exciting world
Yeah.
of cartography.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna write Rand McNally so I remember.
yeah, I think that's fair. There's also an individual
Okay.
who is your predecessor, because
Okay.
you've been Imperial Consul for one life path, right?
Yes.
So you've been doing this for, I think, 6 years is what we decided. Well, the
think so,
Empire's been
yeah.
around longer than that. There's a guy named Servius Castus, who was a military guy before he was appointed to the Imperial Consul of Cartography.
Okay.
And then he was retired. He retired 7 years ago, and you were appointed the new Imperial Consul of Cartography.
Okay.
Well, he kind of hangs around a little too much. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah.
He's pretty. He's not very nice to you.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's kind of a rumor that he was forced to retire.
Let some heat.
And he was before that he was a military guy, so he's a legatus. He was a retired legatus in the military before he became before he got this cushy
Before he
political.
became retired consul.
Yeah, well, before he became consul.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had retired from the military before he became consul, and then he's older now.
Yeah.
And,
Old enough to have retired twice.
yeah. So.
Okay.
So since you have a relationship with Tiamir, how about, is there a reason you might go talk to Tiamir? This is before the assassination.
Right.
Yeah, because he is your relationship.
Right.
You have access to him.
Is there like something that is going on back home
They're all,
that he might
could be
have.
back home. It could be in your responsibility. There's always stuff going on, right?
Yeah.
Like,
But I just mean like maybe I would come to him because he like obviously has a very firm finger on the pulse of like what's happening in our specific kingdom of Rouge. Like,
yeah.
is there in world like any sort of like, I don't know, conflicts or any smaller scale things that are happening back home that I'd be like, hey, just want to.
Yeah, well, and
check,
you
make
are
sure.
in home, basically,
Yeah.
right? Your Rouge is, you both are Rouge.
Right.
And the Imperial capital is inside Rouge. So,
Yeah. Like back
there.
towards where's Hakamani?
Oh, no, that's right. You're Hakamash. What am I
Yeah.
saying? Okay, I apologize.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, I'm still getting
No,
very
I think
characters.
that it
So
was
if you-
originally said
if
that
you
I
s-
was from Rouge.
Yeah,
so
before there.
there's-
That's right. If you slide those down, there's Hakamanish.
Yeah, okay.
It's there. Yeah, it's a pretty
Yeah.
big, pretty influential, important kingdom. There are border questions.
Okay. Great. I love a border question. That's
Yeah.
my jam.
Border questions between Hakamanish and Andalus and Francia.
The dish is ours.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
And so and you want to fix the map
Yeah.
because it's got some problems in it, and so you're talking to him about it, sort of like before going to the emperor, but you want to check in with him because he has a lot of influence with the emperor.
Yeah.
So go in, you have this conversation with him about the maps, and then at some point, he just kind of throws into the conversation, Servius. You remember old Servius?
Not allowed to forget about him.
Yeah. He's back in town. He has been showing up at Giola's parties and glad handing with other consuls. So let me tell you about Giola. This is somebody
Yeah.
you should all know. Giola Fitzgibbon. She used to be a consul,
Oh, Giola
but she
Fitzgibbon,
retired
okay.
from it for the right reasons. She just
Ooh.
didn't like the responsibility
She's a-
anymore, and she's a kind of a socialite.
Okay.
She loves hosting parties. She has a bit of a gambling problem.
Okay.
She's local, but she used to be the head of public safety. She was a predecessor to you.
Oh.
Okay, and so she throws events, and there's usually a kind of a party at her place the night before a council meeting.
Okay.
All right.
And-
Are we generally invited to those, or is that a thing?
Yeah, she's always trying. Most people don't go
Okay.
because they're consuls and it's a party and it's like a weekly thing. So, you wouldn't go very often if you did,
Okay.
Certainly Tomas Swift is there if he's in town, because he usually is because he's a consul. Sometimes Sybil is there. Sometimes Zune is there. Some of the people. Anyway,
Yeah.
so he says, you gotta watch out for that guy. He's a snake.
Yeah. Well, I have been meaning to go to one of those parties. I have a checklist I'm working on.
Yeah. The checklist.
No need to bother yourself about it.
All right.
It's a personal matter. Is he pursuing any official work? Does it seem? Is he undermining me, or is he just
Well, he heard about the book you're working on.
flattering? Go on.
Yeah. So, he wrote his own book.
Yes, which is why I need to write another one.
Ooh, bird.
Yeah, he wrote a book called The Definitive Cartographer.
Yeah. A little bit of hubris.
And it's kind of the, until your book gets done, it has been, the imperial standard for cartography is his book, The Imperial Cartographer. And so anyway, that's backstory, back to
Right.
in character. So he heard about your book that he's working on, and he's taken it as a personal insult, and he has been lobbying about town, talking you down, saying that you're not qualified to rewrite such an important work that he spent so much effort on.
Taking some notes. I literally just wrote the word notes.
I understand
Okay.
the challenges of role playing while taking notes. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, that is fascinating. I feel like he may be biting off more than he can hear with this one. I'm bad at idioms.
Yeah, you're right. You are biting off more than he can hear.
As the saying goes, I think that he's unprepared for my sterling reputation, which could likely defend itself.
You just want to. I would just recommend you bolster it any way that you could think of.
Okay.
Is it the original artist on your staff?
Yes, Rand. Lazaretti.
Yeah.
Lazaretti Gold. Surely if I convinced Lazaretti to maybe write up a piece in the, what's the newspaper called?
The Cardavan Informant.
Yeah. Maybe write up a piece bolstering my reputation, such a sort of.
He is well respected
Right?
in the cartography circles. Yeah.
Yeah. In the cartography section of the Cardavan Informant, which I have been petitioning to get added for months now.
I just want to make sure Boguslav is not laughing. This is Peter laughing. Boguslav Tiamir is being very. He's smooth.
Yeah.
He is a smooth politician. You know, he just always says the right thing, always has the right expression. Very encouraging to you, and you know.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, well, this would also be a great opportunity to then push the informant to include a cartography piece.
Yeah, well, certainly, yes.
The people want to know. Obviously, everyone uses maps.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Okay.
So unless you're going to try and get him to do something for you, which would be something like what she just did, I think we can end that scene.
Okay.
And I'm not suggesting you should, or there's something obvious or whatever. But
No. I'm thinking if I want to try and get him to pull some string. But this feels like below his pay grade. So I thank him for the information, and I'm going to pursue this on my own.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'm happy to give you another scene if you want to.
Yeah. Okay.
What would you like to do?
I would like to. Should I speak to Lazaretti? I should speak to Lazaretti before I speak to the informant, because if I have him on board, then I can be like, I have this piece lined up. So I want to. Is it too late to be visiting?
We go the
Lazaretti
next day,
Gold?
whatever.
Yeah, great. Okay.
Yeah. Time is flexible here until the day.
Until the
event.
So at an appropriate time, I send word to Lazaretti that I would like a word with him when he has time.
All right. Yeah. Sure. So, where? By the way, do you have an office, or do you visualize your office cartography being in the palace, or cartography is really close to records? You could be the Dwarven Hall Records if you wanted to be. Or you could have your own office in a ministerial building. Like where do you work? Where's your staff operate and all the drawing? Where does all the magic happen?
The magic happens.
All the drawing. All the stuff. Oh, and by the way, I wanted to tell you about another thing. I'm not trying to tie it into this plot, but just it's a world thing that I think is fun. There is a place called the Hall of Reliefs, which is. If you like this idea, I could give your character credit for it.
Okay.
The previous consul did these. You could have done the Hall of Reliefs, but they can be a recent addition. In the south of the Imperial Palace, in the Imperial grounds, is the Emperor's personal maps, and they are inscribed in mosaics on the floor in this massive hall. The maps are way bigger than this, right?
Yeah.
And they're so big that sometimes if he holds court with dignitaries from other kingdoms, from kingdoms within his empire, he'll have a court session in the Hall of Reliefs.
Nice.
And there's this layer of sand that covers it all. And there's these guys with these brooms around. And if you're like, oh, there's something that happened over in Hakamanish, they'll walk over there and they'll go over there and they'll clear all the sound apart, you know, and so you never get to kind of see the whole map at once, but if you hang out long enough, you get to see them, stuff like that.
Pretty cool.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah. So
That's a pretty good idea.
That's
Yeah.
a good idea.
Yeah, was that yours? Or?
Yeah.
That's great. You're a
It
genius.
was.
I'm glad you like it enough that you're willing to own it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no, that's super
So,
cool. I
anyway.
definitely pushed for that. I wanted it like painted and then shellacked over, but I was convinced the tile would last longer.
Yeah.
So I worked, my paintings, I worked with a,
And you can always replace the tiles if the borders change.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, so Lazarati Gold comes to. Oh, we never decided. Where's your office?
Oh, right. I imagine she has like an office in the palace somewhere, but the sort of the work
Yeah.
in the grander scale gets done at maybe like an administrative building nearby.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so she has an office to handle more immediate things or things that like she specifically is working on. Yeah.
Most of this mall between the Imperial Palace and the Senate Discord is lined with government type buildings, and so you have an office in a municipal building along the mall, and you summon Lazarati Gold. He comes to your office. He's pretty old, like I said. His hands are really cramped from years of writing, and his eyes are, he's very very strained. His vision is getting bad.
Yeah, we have that in common.
You've had to correct a couple of his, but he's got some lenses that
Do
he
it like
works with.
respectfully in secret,
yeah.
kind of like just.
Yeah, and he's bald. He's kind of a tall man. He was probably fairly handsome when he was younger, and his head's bowed.
Does he have a title that he goes by, or do I just call him Lazarati?
He's the lead cartographer, so but you probably call him, if you want him to feel relaxed, you probably call him Lazarati.
Okay.
Or you could call him Mr. Gold if
Okay.
you wanted to.
All right. Mr. Gold feels a little once the show.
Yeah.
For any fans out there. Okay, great. Lazarati, welcome. Can I get you a tea, a drink, anything?
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Tea. Be great.
Great. Yeah.
Thank you.
I like a tea. I probably have like a tea tray
Sure.
just available. So yeah.
You probably have an assistant who's doing, you're like
Well, sure,
a
sure.
very important person,
Yeah.
right? So you've got, unless you kick an assistant out, there's an assistant there ready to pour you tea
Okay, great,
and
yeah.
everything. Yeah. And stuff. Yeah.
All right, then I have my assistant pour us tea. I like gesture for both of us.
Yeah, she's
Great.
on it. Yeah, as fast as you can gesture, she's doing it.
I have a bit of a favor to ask.
And he's standing, by the way.
Oh, have a seat, please.
Okay, he sits down.
Yeah, okay, great. I have a bit of a favor to ask.
Oh, anything.
As you may or may not know, Servius Castus is back in town. He's taken a bit of umbrage at my book, which in and of itself, a bit of an honor. But he is taking it out in an unhealthy manner. He seems to be spreading rumors and just seeding doubt about my abilities to write a follow-up, not even a correction on, but a follow-up to his work that he had the hubris to call definitive. That seems like a him problem. Like he flew a little too close to the moon with that one.
Well, your book will be much better.
Oh, thank you.
Your book will,
Well-
we will no longer have a need for his book once your book comes out. It's probably,
I pride myself on agreeing with you, and who am I to disagree with the esteemed Lazarus?
and I'm looking forward to providing some illustrations from your book if you decide that my work is sufficient. By the way, even with all his problems,
Yeah.
he is still the best
okay.
cartographer you have on staff.
Okay,
He's
yeah,
magic.
would
with,
be honored to include a piece from
have
such
an
an esteemed cartographer.
I have an idea for illustrating the connection of the plane of On to the great sea.
It's something I've always struggled with. How do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have an idea for it.
No. Okay, we're getting off. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I would love to hear your thoughts on this more than you know. However, I need to address this problem with
yeah.
Servius Castus.
Yeah, I hope you
And-
do. Yeah.
As we've discussed, I have been pressing the Cordovan informant to include a section on cartography for months now, and I thought if you would be willing, that you could maybe write a piece in support of my work that we could then have the informant publish to get ahead of these attempts
You know,
to discredit me.
I'm not good at marketing, but
Oh, someone could certainly proofread it for you.
but I think that you should, make an announcement. What do they call it? A press release about your book.
If-
Like we should announce that you're working on the book, and I could
Do
endorse
people
it.
not know?
Yeah, you've been working on your book. Nobody knows except for your staff,
Okay.
and they're not going to tell anybody unless you
Yeah.
tell them it's okay to
Okay.
tell. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
great. Well,
Yeah.
that's a really good idea. If we include it
But
in this
obviously
press
somebody
release.
does know
Yeah,
because
it's getting out.
Servius
Yeah.
knows. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
Who is working against me? File that away for later. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
with this press release,
Yeah.
in that case, would you be willing to provide maybe just a quote, a blurb, if you will?
Sure. I
Having
could.
having your name in support of my work would mean a great deal.
I would absolutely do that. Anything to get back at Servius.
Nice. Yeah, agreed. Everybody hates this guy. All right.
You know he stole some of my work.
Did I know that? No.
Probably not.
I did. Tell me more.
He suddenly kind of comes to life a little bit. He goes over and
okay.
grabs a copy of the book off of your shelf and just immediately opens up to see this map.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I've
I
seen
did that map. He claimed that he did it. He didn't do
I
it.
thought I
did-
recognized the brush strokes.
Yeah,
I
that-
thought he was
yeah.
pulling from your work, but he just.
No. And then this one, and then this one,
How did
and
he get
this
away with
one.
this?
Yeah. And he didn't write the book. He hired a ghostwriter to write the book.
That makes sense. The man can barely string a sentence together.
He suddenly remembers that he's. Yes, I'd be delighted to write a letter to the Cordovan informant for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You want me to sign the letter, though?
Your name would mean
Then he would know.
a great deal. He would. What an excellent way to get back at him. You're safe in your position. I'm in control here. He can't come after you. He can't rob you of your job.
Sounds like
He
a
can't
persuasion
steal
test
your
to me.
work.
It does. I hope this campaign is an all persuasion test, but I think it's going to be a lot of
I have
persuasion tests.
A little bit of persuasion.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
He's not nearly as strong-willed as Amira. So,
Okay.
But I'll give him a will of. I'm debating between 2 and 3.
Okay.
Let's say 3. He's
3?
I
famous.
knew the cartographer world was just so much drama.
I know, we're learning so much about this.
It's in
I like
her.
how we're like, ooh,
I know, yeah,
And
you
a
guys
little
are
bit
really
into the
good.
Chaldean publishing scene. Like,
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
a little bit.
Okay, I'm trying to see if
Do you have persuasion?
I do.
Yeah.
I do, and we just discussed all the stuff that it forks into, and I don't have any of them.
Okay. Well, what's your persuasion skill?
3.
Oh, well, this is actually going to be a kind of a tough test.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out if I can bring those numbers up here.
I got to think of penalty for failure here.
Okay.
I mean, he's just nervous about the signing it. He's happy to write the article. If you fail the test, what's a good penalty for failure here?
Ooh, people will talk about how he's becoming senile.
Oh,
Well, it's going to cast him into the public light, and he's not great at interviews. That's what he's so.
okay.
Well, okay. So if here's your penalty for failure.
Okay.
Is that he will end up being in the public spotlight, and it will not go well for him, which is weirdly,
Oh, buddy.
it's kind of weirdly not tied to making a persuasion, but it's the best thing. Sorry,
Okay.
people watching me, it's the best thing I can come up with on the moment. Yeah, so it is, something is going, he's going to get lambasted by Servius. Servius is going, yeah, this is what's going to happen. Okay, I got it. He does this. If you fail the test, Servius is going to reveal some truths about Lazaretti Gold and reverse the blame and say that everybody's been covering for him and all this stuff like that.
Oh, no.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so his reputation is going to take a hit.
Okay.
Okay, so you have a skill 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have 3 dice.
Yeah.
Bob is 2.
And wait, sorry.
And-
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's 2?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
you are trying to convince him you're actually trying to convince him of something that he actually wants to do. So I'll
Okay.
give you an advantage out of that.
Okay, nice.
So
All
4
right.
dice, Bob 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, twinkly dice.
Yeah.
Oh, 6. You got 1, 6, and 2.
Oh, 2 successes.
You got it.
Oh, no.
Right.
That was my mic.
Uh-oh.
Time out.
What'd you say? I can't hear you.
I got 2 successes.
2 successes is on the mark. It was such a good success that, like,
Yeah,
it
so
made them.
If you needed more successes, you could spend a fate and roll another die, but you don't.
But I don't,
'cause I
There's no margin of success.
That's
Sometimes
what a
some
success
tests have
looks
what's called a
like.
margin of success,
Oh, sure.
where if you beat the number by extra successes,
certain
you
amount.
get extra good.
Okay.
But
So
okay,
it's just he's gonna do it.
No, he's gonna do it. He's gonna write a letter. He's gonna sign it, and because you successfully did it, it's kind of not really related to persuasion. No real blowback's going to come at him.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do I know, does he like wine, or is there anything he likes that I can send him as a gift?
He's actually pretty straight sort of guy. Like
Okay.
he's not known to drink
Yeah.
or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, everybody likes cheese.
Cheese basket?
Yeah.
Cheese basket.
Okay.
You're going to send him a cheese
Or
basket?
Yeah, I'm gonna arrange with my
quills,
assistant.
Or new quills.
Nice. Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Writing material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Very much appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Yeah. All right. Great.
Great. Yeah, and then I arranged with my assistant to send him a cheese basket. I don't want it to seem like I'm just trying to give him equipment for the job I tasked him with,
Cheese.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Okay. Well, let's go to you, Marcus.
All right.
And again, this is pre-assassination. We will have this scene of wherever this goes, and then we will talk about the assassination, and then we will go to our confessionals, which is the end, the thing that we do at the end, right?
Sounds
Yep.
good.
That I told you about. Okay, so you have a relationship with Leanne Cordova,
Yes, I do.
and you're drop dead gorgeous.
Yes, I do.
Oh.
So I'm thinking that you go see Leanne,
Okay.
and let's see, what would be an appropriate sort of thing? Is it a date or is it not a date? I mean, the two of you.
Cheese basket.
Cheese basket. Cheese basket.
Cheese guy's been
Tea?
working
Yeah.
hard.
Tea.
Or like a
marketing team.
classic tea area where like they got crumpets.
Oh, like a
Would it
tea
be-
room.
Now, would it be?
Well, I
Would it be
think-
more private? Like,
Oh, yeah, 'cause she's the
what's
yeah.
better?
I think
party?
what it would be, I think it's not a party. I think, it's like, you watch Downton Abbey, somebody comes over,
Yeah, you meet in the
courting one of the
drawing room.
girls, you meet in the drawing room, but the brother is there
Yeah.
or something like that.
okay.
Yeah, you
It's
have
like,
to have
it's not a private moment,
Right.
but you have, so her mother is there.
Okay.
Nice. She's your chaperone, or her chaperone.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and
Chaperone.
That's what they were really called.
You're
Yeah,
right.
that's what
okay.
they are.
wait, no, not her mother, her grandmother is there.
Okay, so her
Excuse me.
mother's
Oh,
the,
nice.
the
genie.
genie. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a genie in the
Don't
drawing
worry about
room.
that. Have a nice-
Parlor genie.
Like right there in the little
Bergamot.
lamp.
Yeah. Let's bring the mother into it. Why the hell
Okay.
not? Just to make it something different. So you've met with Leanne before.
Yes.
And with Leshka, which is her grandmother, which is the emperor's mother.
Leshka is Marcosta's mother.
That's right. That is right. Leshka. His father is also alive, but the two of them are estranged. Her father is, since you have a big belief about Leanne, you might as well know, her father is Baron Siron Cordova, and he lives in Ogstadt.
Sidon Cordova, Ogstadt.
Yep. And he is German, I think. Oh, I hope I get these right. He's Germanic, Hessen. And his mother is, Leshka is Ardayan. Or Chaldee, you're not quite sure. She's Arab. Okay?
Okay.
And Leshka is a piece of work. Leshka is like, she does not have a kind bone in her body.
Sounds like home.
And she is controlling and has made it clear that she does not like, she doesn't consider your visits to be courting.
Okay.
You are not, because you are not you're not high enough social status to be courting the daughter of the emperor.
Fair.
I mean, yeah, even if you are, from a noble family in Sarmatia,
It's a little different than a god king's daughter.
it's a little different. Yeah. But you're pretty sure that Leanne really likes you.
Oh, okay. That's good.
And so you're allowed to come visit like once every 3 months. Of course, now you have, the rules oblige me to give you access when you want it. So that would come through some sort of surreptitious sort of meeting.
Nice.
But let's not make that today.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
not what
yeah.
happened. So you've come to have tea with the princess and her grandmother. And she, by the way, Leanne is much taller than her grandmother.
Okay.
And she's as tall, maybe taller than the emperor. She's a tall woman, okay? And very statuesque. She's like the Lady Jessica of Chaldea. I mean, she is like very sophisticated, very actually the Princess Irulan of Chaldea. Like if we're dropping Dune references.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She always knows how to act, and she's incredibly smart. She's incredibly well educated. She's incredibly beautiful, of course, and
Got some stiff competition.
It's fine.
and so are you.
My checklist.
So when you show up and get escorted in to the palace, they would live in a palace. Steve, we need another palace.
Steve Palace, please.
Palace, please, for Leshka and Leanne. There is another woman there, and this woman looks a lot like Leanne, but a little fairer skinned than Leanne's dark-skinned father. And she has beautiful blonde hair that goes down, and she is even taller than Leanne is.
Wow.
And the butler who escorts you in, may I present your correct title, honorific. He uses your name, not
Yeah,
Polly.
absolutely.
Yeah. And then he turns to this is Lady. He seems unsure of the title. Lady Teniel. Almost like Tanel. Hi,
Yeah, just a little bit.
but not quite.
Little bit.
A little bit of a different sort of accent on it. And Teniel stands and hi there. Hi.
Oh,
Hello, an absolute pleasure.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
He says yes.
She looks at, yeah. She looks at, and by the way, you could tell Leshka's not excited that Teniel is here.
Okay.
Oh.
Making a note of that.
And, at some point, Teniel will be gone and Leshka will still be here.
Oh.
So Teniel does not seem very proper, she's just sizing you up. Looks at her daughter and says, nice. Leanne just kind of accepts the compliment and blushes a little appropriately. And so, what are your plans with relating to my daughter? And Leshka is like, there are no plans. There is nothing happening here. This is not a courting situation. And Teniel looks at Leanne. Teniel's like, I don't know, I'm reading the room. I think
Dang, mom is working overtime.
I think this summation has plans on my daughter. Tell me about yourself.
Well, I am oh my gosh, where's my paper? Yes. Well, I am the Imperial Consul of Commerce.
Oh, that's the boring stuff. You're from Sumatia. What are your hobbies? What's your family like? What are give me something juicy. I know you're politically important. You've got some role in the castle, the palace, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my family is we run the what is the actually? So, question for you. This is actually we run the kingdom. We work in the kingdom of Sumacia. We're from there. We're representative of them.
Yeah. You're a senator.
I'm a senator from Sumacia.
From Sumatia.
Sumacia.
Yeah. Sumacia might be better, but that's the way I've always said it. Yeah.
Not much to tell. Noble born. Worked my way up. Trained horses.
Are you good with a sword? Are you a dueler? Do you go graving? Do you hang out you've been to Graver's Dig?
No, I'm
And then Leanne says, Mother, Graver's Dig doesn't exist anymore. Remember, Cordava outlawed it. And she says, I know, that was such a fun place when I was a kid. I used to go there.
This is an awkward situation here.
So let's go into mechanics then.
Yeah.
What would be your goal in this situation? Do you think of what are you nervous about? What would you like to see happen in this situation?
I would like to get out of this. No, I think
be free.
in this situation, you want to maintain the impression you've left on Leanne. However, you have to dodge this Grandma Leshka.
Yeah.
So I would say keep Leanne on the hook
Yeah.
and keep Leshka just believing she's in the power. This is not happening.
Okay. So, but then how are you treating Teniel? What do you want Teniel to think of you? Because I think this is a 2 out of 3 situation.
Okay.
I think that treating 2 of them the way, trying to get 2 of them to have the impression you want might exclude the 3rd.
Okay.
Right?
That's perfect.
But getting all 3 to have the impression you want, that sounds like a test.
Okay.
Yes.
Do it.
So who are you prioritizing? We'll put it in these terms. Who are you prioritizing of the 3?
Right now, Leanne.
Leanne's 1.
Tenelle is 2, just because she might not be around. She's not that influential right now.
Teniel is 2.
Tenelle is 2.
Yeah. So Leshka's the 3rd priority, the lowest priority.
If I had to, yes.
The mom is the third. Wait, hold on.
The grandma.
No, the grandma.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
grandma.
Grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah, grandma. Yeah, she can't
Listen,
be.
don't make the genie
powerful.
angry.
Exactly.
Don't make the genie angry.
Don't make the
She'll draw me weird.
Yeah.
That's an idiom I know.
Okay, so you're going to navigate this fine with those 2. The question is whether or not you're going to get out of this without pissing off Grandma.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
I think, this is a social maneuvering sort of skill, and I think it might be.
Not seduction?
I could be seducing them,
not-
but it's not.
But I'm thinking of the test against Leshka. I don't think you're trying to seduce Leshka.
can't-
Well, you could
I mean, could it
a
be
little
etiquette?
bit.
I mean,
Could
in a
be
way, you're
etiquette.
trying to seduce an outcome out of them.
Yes.
That they are fine, but that's just messy.
You're trying to use your personal, your sensual charm as a man.
Yes.
Trying to use your charm as a man
Sensual.
with an old lady.
Obviously,
Would
we know how
etiquette
to
be
use
better?
manly charms.
I don't know. I think I might let seduction,
Seduction?
be the one.
Let seduction roll.
Let seduction. Yeah. I think etiquette though
You're the
is
bard.
definitely worth a fork.
Okay.
Yeah.
But let's see what else it says about
Yeah.
seduction.
Seduction.
Let's refer to
I added this. I knew we
the
were going to be
Holy
looking it up.
Scriptures.
So how you make
The
it positive
skills.
for everybody? You should make all the ladies swoon.
It's having each of them getting out of this without one of them being pissed. That's
Course into persuasion, soothing, platitudes, and poetry.
Poetry.
I thought about taking poetry, but I took dance. Can I dance? Maybe
Yeah, use your body to seduce
Your
them.
body.
Yes.
I feel like we should negotiate because I really
That
want to see
feels
that.
like-
No, because your movements also have a subtle like.
Yeah, your
structure.
body language.
Your
That's like a
body
type of
language.
dance.
telling a story.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah, I'm gonna say no.
seductive dance
And
persuasion.
by the
What if
way,
my sassy
I
walk
am
is
going to
poetry?
try to be kind of strict. I'm such a soft EDM that if it feels a little, if it feels a little weak, I'm going to say no.
Sounds good to me.
So you've got
but it doesn't hurt to try.
yeah. So you do have. I did give you one for etiquette because
Yes.
you are talking about a
So
situation.
that's an extra die for etiquette. That's
Yeah.
4 for persuasion, which I have, and then
No, seduction.
oh, seduction. Sorry, seduction. For seduction,
Do you
And
have
what-
persuasion too? Because
I do have persuasion.
Do you have
Before-
conspicuous?
I also have ugly truth, which is another fork for.
Well, if you,
No, that
if
was
you
for
decide what you,
persuasion. That was
you
for
actually
persuasion,
really
not
do
seduction, yeah.
want to piss her off, then ugly truth would be good. Okay, so before you roll,
Yeah.
what's your seduction?
My seduction is 3.
Okay, so that's 3. Then you're getting a fork for etiquette. That's 4, and a fork for persuasion. Sure, I am a kind and generous DM. Yeah.
Thank you, Peter.
Okay, so before you roll.
Yeah.
Okay, now you're trying to go against her will.
Oh no, Iron Will.
Yeah, her will is higher than Amira's. But the mechanics, if you can change it from a test against her will to a test of, I'm trying to figure out a way to make this a versus test
Oh, get a new type of test.
against her will.
She seems pretty strong-willed, though. So
Well, and the thing
roll
is,
against the Queen Mother.
so if you fail, yeah, she is strong-willed. I'm thinking of giving her a really high number, at least a 6, but maybe higher. Yeah, she is iron-willed, dowager material.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to say 7.
Ooh,
7.
7.
7. That's her will. Now, if you want to make it a versus test, your odds of getting 7 successes are really hard with what you have. I mean, it's almost
Yeah.
impossible, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I
you
don't
could
wanna do that.
you
I
could
don't
throw in your 1 point of Arda, you could explode 6s, you could get there, but it's not very likely. Okay, so there's something she wants.
okay.
And if that'll make it a versus test. I'm making up a little fast and furious about the rules here. I can't wait to see what the people on the Discord channel. I'm getting advice from some Burning Wheel experts on the Burning Wheel channel, which has
Thank
been
you.
very, very helpful. Thank you. Shout out to all of them. If this will make it though that there's something she wants. If you fail, she's going to get what you want, and that is for you to vow to that you have no romantic interest with Leanne.
Okay.
And that your intentions are purely out of respect for the family.
Okay. Okay.
Are you okay with living with that as your alternative? Is to not do the test and just, take the fact that you've pissed off Leshka in this meeting and just deal with that.
You know what? I kind of want to just piss her off. I like the idea of the test, just
Right,
just to show the
right,
mechanics of it.
right,
But for a
right.
character, long term, this is more along the lines of what I'm hoping for, what I'm
Okay.
working with.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to risk it.
Okay.
Okay.
If that's
Fair.
if that's okay.
That's absolutely okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, no test. Sorry, but
Sorry for the build-up.
no. That's
It's
perfect.
usually the smarter thing to do.
This is the more interesting. I want to see how it works. But I've already got so many great, a failure from you and a great outcome from you. So like,
Really great
I feel
failure
like we
from
just
you.
covered the bases, and I'm just going to kind of
Yeah.
sit back and let this old lady hate me.
Yeah. Well, taking one for the team.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you what.
Oh,
I'll tell you what.
oh,
I know. I'm on the move.
Special.
Joe is panicking. I'm on the move.
We need a Peter Cam. We need a GoPro
yeah.
for him.
Yeah. We need the little cam that falls in the hallway.
Here. Okay, I'll be Peter for sure.
Keep the banner going, guys.
Oh no, I am excited. So
Good.
I guess you're just stringing her along.
That's what you heard in the gameplay. I can't answer that. So she is a very powerful ally. She's someone I definitely do care for as a member of the Cordovan royal family. The bloodline. I do have ties to them, and I do respect that. I think that they are the true ones. So
All right.
So I wasn't able to award you with a test, but I will give you a gold star.
You get stars. I want a star.
Oh my gosh, Peter! It would be
Power
an
of stickers.
I want a sticker.
Yeah, can we undo
Wait, how do I get this done? You will have to decipher it yourself.
Offer us a sticker.
I know. You got a test.
This is for me. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want a sticker.
I'm gonna put this right here
You'll probably get one
Nice.
because you're a very smart
so
player.
everyone can see. This is what I earned.
There you go. Yeah, there
Good
you
for
go.
you.
Get lost in all the other stars.
That's
It'll
true.
lose
Yeah.
its
You should
meaning.
have put it on your book.
I don't want to. It's such a pretty book.
Yeah, but it'd be prettier with more stars.
You hear that? It'll be pretty with more stars. Let's get on it.
More
Reprint.
stars. Reprint. More stars. Me shinier.
Thank you, Peter.
Okay.
What?
While you are, the results as we call them, while you're in the, while you're leaving the palace, Leshka's palace, there is a stir, and Imperial dispatches are running in and going in to see Leshka. You're not sure why, but then you hear somebody yell out in the street that the Emperor is dead, and people are like, "What the fuck?" And, oops. There's our F-bomb. Sorry.
Peter didn't say that. Other people did on the
Yeah.
streets.
people,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's somebody on the streets.
On the
Right.
street.
You can't be responsible
Yeah,
for what people
yeah,
on the streets
exactly.
are saying.
Yeah.
There is a panic breaking out in the streets about news that the Drazeldar have turned on the Emperor and killed him.
Oh.
His legion? His whole.
You're just hearing. I mean, this is like just
on the streets.
just on the streets. People talk. You ask questions, but nobody has
I mean,
any answers.
I'd
Yeah.
definitely say Ollie's hair, his neck hair standing up just hearing this.
Well, and coming out of a meeting with the Emperor's mother and daughter. Yeah, and lover, apparently.
Yeah.
At least at one time. So, where we left you off
Yes.
was Amira
She-
went charging into Forge Park.
Yep. Tell me what's up.
And by the time, and you kind of had a bad feeling about this a little
She
bit.
had too much fire in her eyes.
Yeah, she had too much fire in her eyes.
Too much fire.
By morning, she hasn't returned. You've had trouble getting sleep, and you get a dispatch from the palace, and that says there's been violence at the palace. The Emperor appears to be dead. Council meeting tomorrow is canceled and rescheduled for 2 days later. And that's what the note says, but there's a guy carrying the note, And,
Is it a real note? Is this a
Yeah,
forgery?
yeah.
It's not a forgery.
No, it's a real note.
It's a wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you're going to get all three of you. You're all consuls, so you're all 3 going to get an official message, dispatch from the emperor, from the empire, from the palace, saying this, and but the person who brings it to you is a bit more talkative, and tells you, I was there. There was violence. Dresdar were in an uproar. It was horrible, and then he starts crying, and says, it looks like the emperor's dead, but he's a god, and maybe it's just a temporary thing. I don't know. This is horrible. And he's freaking out, but he doesn't really have any
No details.
no actual information.
All right.
No.
This is all fitting together. More.
Finally, bonsai. And
I knew
conspiracy
this is
theories.
all leading to a single path.
Okay, you get a gold star. But you have to
I get a gold
you have to figure out how
star.
to peel it off.
I will take the gold star. Put that
That's great.
nice.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks pretty. You're right. It looks good. You're right.
does look
I
There
made
you
a
go.
mistake.
See? There
Next
you go.
gold star. I'm
there you
ambitious.
go.
I'm thinking about
Now,
the
now
future.
you know
Nice.
which one's my book.
Yeah.
More stars.
Competition. Competition. You can get the most gold stars in their books.
Most gold stars. That's what we're
okay.
calling
Focus.
it.
Focus.
All right,
Yeah.
let's go.
Sorry, my bad.
sorry.
Okay,
No,
so
good.
you probably just go through your routine, go to bed that night, like a normal sort of thing, and and just a little earlier than normal because I imagine maybe you're an early riser.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
get to work, stuff like
Early
that.
bed, early to rise.
a little earlier than about an hour earlier than that. Sun's just sun is just starting to peek over the horizon. Some of the Numians are starting to scurry away.
Oh, okay.
Moon is up there waiting for her lover to rise. And what's her name? What's your best?
Oh, Yelena?
Yelena.
Yeah. Yelena comes in with there's a message for you. I think it's urgent.
All right, bring it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
She gives it. It's the same message.
Yeah. Who delivered this?
Imperial messenger.
And not to rehash
Yeah.
out of game, but I have handwriting wise. This definitely
Is official.
is
Yeah.
the real deal.
Yeah.
Yay for paranoia.
From Tiamir's office.
Yeah. Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
It says that the emperor is dead.
Yeah.
Can
Well,
he die?
she's like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
Are you?
All right, hold it up. Can she read? Can you read?
Probably not.
Go,
I mean,
okay.
well,
I hold it up and then I'm like, it says the emperor's dead.
no, it can't be. That's not possible. He's a god. Gods can't die.
That's what I'm thinking. It's
Yeah.
not possible. It's not possible.
No, it's not. No.
Okay, maybe this is some sort of plan. Maybe there was an action against him that he knew about, so he is faking his own death.
Oh, yeah, that's probably it. No,
Okay,
oh,
I need to get to the
yeah.
palace.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'll let you know
Yeah.
what happens when I come home.
Okay. Off to the palace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Yeah, fully into now.
Yeah. Fully.
Yeah, he's a god emperor.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay, let's do. That's insane for everybody.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna do Art Awards and then confessionals. Okay.
Okay.
So the Art Awards are. I'm just gonna read these off, and if you've done any of these things, raise your hand or just jump in and say. It's going to feel really hard to do these at first until you kind of get your mind around Burning Wheel and start thinking about these while they're playing. I'm hitting you with a lot of stuff at while as you're going along. So if you believe that you worked on any of your beliefs, okay, yeah.
Yes.
What'd you do? I mean, I know, but go ahead.
I was pursuing my brother's investigation of his murder to
Yeah.
the point where I put one of my own
Yeah,
in jeopardy.
that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay, so you get a fate for that. Yeah. Did you talk to either of your other beliefs?
Any of the other? No, because I didn't have an opportunity.
Yeah, that's hard.
No opportunity,
Yeah, it's hard. It's usually you only get to touch about one or two of your beliefs in a given session. That's just kind of the way it works out. as we get more efficient, maybe you'll be able to do more. How about for you, Megan?
I mean, does the whole thing with gold count as like pursuing towards publishing my book? Because I'm trying to keep my
for
reputation
sure. Yeah.
clean.
This is
so.
all about, yeah.
Well, then that's what I did.
Yeah, definitely. So you get a fate for that.
Okay.
And
I'm gonna say no.
well, you were with Leanne. She's
But did that work? Because it's insured the I guess that's right. Yeah, that does, because I insured. I put forward that I insured their
yeah.
success.
We were a little nebulous on what your belief was actually going to be, but it definitely had to do with Princess Leanne and the family
I'll
and all
take
that
it.
stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah,
I'll
take a fate. Nothing was resolved, but you definitely get a
And
fate for
they
that.
stack with the ones we started with, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Is there
So-
like a cap or
No.
anything? Okay.
No.
I'm gonna have a lot, so.
If you accumulate,
Is
if you
there
accumulate
two-
too many, that means I'm not doing a good job
Okay.
of pushing you to get
Where's
it
the
to use
fate?
them.
It's
It's
under
used
Arda and Epiphanies on the
Yeah.
other side.
Oh, it's on there.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
okay.
this one.
sorry. Yeah.
fate, persona,
Okay, yeah.
deeds. Yeah.
All right.
So,
Yay. Alright.
did any of you use an instinct or a trait in the way they gave you created a complication for you? I don't think.
No, I did not.
I don't think any of you did.
Nope.
I mean,
Not yet.
wasn't.
Give us time. We
You
will
were definitely
absolutely
role
do that.
playing, being pragmatic or being
Bad at idioms.
bad at idiots. But I don't.
Paid for that.
Yeah, you paid for that.
I
Yeah.
paid to be bad at idioms.
And now we're all paying
It was
too.
fun. You role played it and it was fun, but didn't
Yeah,
really
yeah, that's
create
not a
didn't create
trait,
an
though.
obstacle for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna do moments of gratitude, and thank you, Sarah, for this great way of doing it. And once again, apologies for Burning Wheel hardcore fans who are like, this isn't the way it's normally done. So to remind you,
Yes.
each of you can give give a persona point to another player for either humor in character, right skill, right time, embodiment, mold breaker, workhorse, or MVP.
I have one for each of you.
I gotta
have one.
give Bonsai whatever the humor one. The fact
Yeah.
that you stayed in character, kept true to your character, and still got a laugh was really
Yeah.
fantastic. Like
Yeah.
it was really, really well done.
Yep.
Thank
That was
you.
my free. This is the best. This is how it's
You're able to
coming
do that
together.
multiple times. We're just like, this conspiracy ties together, and it's like
Yeah.
it makes perfect sense for this character.
Yeah.
was
It is a
sort of-
conspiracy.
Yes,
you don't
not-
understand though.
Not delusional at all.
No,
It
it's
is a
not
conspiracy.
character.
It has
Yeah.
been started, like, that's why it's been started 13 years ago. It's specifically 13, right?
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Bonsai's method.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Persona for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I would say for Megan, I would say for your, like, discovering that the world of cartography is, like, filled with tea and subtle jabs and, like, there is, like, a whole drama series that is the, like, cartography wing. It's like Grey's Anatomy, but in cartography.
The real cartographers of Chaldea.
Yeah, the real
It's academia.
Keep
academia. So
keep
I would
pushing
say-
that
I
project.
I
It's
like
ridiculous.
envisioning this like sub-series of like
So we're calling that embodiment.
yes.
Okay. All right.
Thank
That's
you.
Persona for you. All right.
Okay, and great. This works out nicely round robin style because mine was what were the I don't know where to file it. What were the things that give you
Humor in character humor. Right skill, right time. Embodiment, which is role playing.
Yeah.
Mold breaker, which is going against your beliefs. And workhorse for being somebody who just does a lot of work to keep the plot moving. And MVP for like the single like
The
best
moment. Okay.
like the greatest
I
moment.
guess then of those, it would be like right skill, right time. I really enjoyed that you chose to wanted to try and seduce the whole like
The whole group.
matrilineal line of Cordavas. Very cool. But I also really liked that you chose not to do it. And you were just like, nope, one of them's just going to hate me. Like you were just like, well, this very powerful person is just going to not like me, and I am fine with that because, like,
Commitment.
I guess embodiment of the character, right? Because you're
Yeah.
like, this is my best option here without then like ruining these other things. Yeah.
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, I get to give one too, and I'm going to give the Workhorse Award to Bonsai
Oh, yay.
for doing the. You did a lot of work on your character, but you did
Oh, yeah.
more work on your character. So you did the most work
I did
Yay.
not
and
swear.
had the was the most yeah.
Oh, thank you.
A little bit.
most thorough.
Yay.
Soonest.
Thank you.
That makes my life better.
I still have
So-
more stories, and you're like, what? You didn't
Yep.
tell me that part of the story. It's like, oh, yeah, I did it.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I'm going to close this, and I'm going to switch places with you guys one at a time, and I'm going to try and clear the eye line a little bit here, and again, it's one of those three topics. As a reminder, it's the fact that Tarsus wants to basically do martial law, and Ptolemy wants to summon the Senate, and Amandella wants to do psionic interrogations of pretty much everybody that she can come up with a good excuse to do it on. So, who wants to go first? And you're going to make basically a statement about this to the council in
All right,
character.
I go first.
All right, you can do something.
Yeah, I
All
can
right.
do something. I can do something. Okay, so I can go either way, but for sure. So, do I have to sit or stand? Sit or stand? We're gonna sit because it's easier with the
I
cameras.
think the camera's set for you to be sitting.
sitting.
Yep.
So,
And I think addressing left, right, center, like you would, because imagine you're at a table and there's council members all around you.
okay.
Okay.
Hello, fellow council members. We're all here during this dire time of chaos and discourse of what tragically has happened to our emperor. And I fully support Tardis with keeping the country together right now. We are in panic. We do not know all the facts. There is obviously a conspiracy happening in here. And I believe that we need to solidify with an iron fist the order of the nation. Or what do we call this?
Empire.
Empire. The empire.
Yeah, great.
Yes, and I will be so committed that I will also volunteer the Bastards Brigade to help out in this effort.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, great. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool if I go next?
Yeah,
It was like a
please do it.
rebuttal of
Do
that
it.
one.
Do it.
Absolutely.
Oh, there goes my water.
And by the way,
It's
there are two council members that are not present.
Oh, I gotta write that down in my notebook.
Who's the council?
Why am I carrying my notebook? I don't. Okay,
Sybil
great.
and
Sybil?
Laufroth.
Oh, that's right.
Okay,
But,
hold on. I gotta take this note.
And who? And
For taking notes of things so well, Megan, you get a gold star.
gold star,
Here, why
gold
don't you just
star.
take care? You got
Thank
this.
you. Thank you so
this.
much.
Just one, Marcus. Keep an eye on her.
You're cut off.
I took sleight of hand. No, okay.
Oh, you put it. Oh, in your journal. Oh, that's more shinier.
It's so shiny.
Shiny.
Okay. Okay. Council meeting. Okay.
Yep.
No shows.
No, it's just Laufrost sent his mouthpiece, Bryce's character.
Yeah. What's
remember.
Bryce's character's name?
I don't.
Okay, Bryce's
Bryce's
character.
character.
Great.
Yeah.
Love
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't have all the characters memorized yet.
Great. What's your last name again?
Oh, last name, I know it, is Al-Rahama.
Al-Rahama.
Yeah.
Okay. In response to Council Member Rahama's support of martial law, I would like to put forth a vote against enacting martial law at this time. All the intel that I have heard is that the Drazeldar themselves were responsible for this attack, and unless we're insinuating that someone within the city has control over the Drazeldar, is stronger than Emperor Cordava himself, then all martial law will do is create a panic and create more danger to the people who are already scared. A show of true strength would be banding together and trusting in our people to come forward if they know anything.
Okay. Great. You some yeses and some nos. So some people are excited about that.
Yeah,
Some
probably
people
not.
are-
Probably not very popular,
Yeah.
but
Tarsus probably isn't very impressed. I think
Yeah.
I knocked over your water bottle.
I did it
Sorry.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Great.
murmur.
All right. Marcus is going to start with, have you met Leanne?
Very pretty.
Members of the council, I do not wish to mollify you with coddling sentiments. These are the darkest days of our great empire, and there will no doubt be followed by many darker nights still. The demigod, our emperor, Marcosta Cardova, has been struck down, and we are left in dire need of a solution for a world we never imagined. Though our military is mighty, and our thirst for answers great, what we need now is guidance. I second the Senate Chair Tiamir's call to summon the Senate and preserve the Empire.
Yeah, there's mostly, mostly people are excited about the idea of calling the Senate. Like, that seemed to be a popular thing because, people are a little nervous about, was Tiamir just going to think he's an emperor now or what? Yeah, let's call the Senate.
Let's call the Senate.
Yeah, so that gets some good general unison.
Please, Peter, please, after you.
Thank you. That's fun. All right, thank you. This concludes our session of Burning Saratof for tonight. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me here.
Thank you for running game.
Playing Burning Wheel with me. I love this game. I think maybe you're seeing why, perhaps, I hope. So,
I would like to offer you a gold star for walking us through our
Yes,
first
and being
session.
so patient with us.
We have more than half of one.
Yeah.
perfect.
And also, I don't know how much you guys talked, but texting with me for like 10 hours. So I was like, what am I doing?
You're very welcome.
I would have
Thank
given you a
Thank-
whole one, but I wasn't sitting there.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm a little
I
stingy.
got half a gold star.
It's a crown.
Perfect.
It's a crown, because you're the king.
You're the king.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
all right.
there
It's
you
all
go.
coming together.
Thank you.
That's we meant to do it.
Yeah, as Fatima would say. It all comes together.
It's all coming together. So this is Actoroke. We stream Actoroke every Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific time. There's 2 different storylines happening. I DM one of the storylines, like this one, obviously, Burning Saratof. But we alternate next week. Mike Boozer of Mike Boozer of Gen Con fame will be back DMing 5th edition, The Nearly Departed, set in the same world, but pretty much the opposite part. Opposite everything, opposite part of the world, opposite levels, more violence, less seduction. Although, there might be some seduction. You just
Maybe.
never know with these groups.
My girlfriend's in
So
that
we
game.
have, please also follow us on World of Chaldea, the various social media platforms. See, Sarah, I remembered. Yay. And watch our shows on Gen Con TV. We have lots of great shows. We have Table Takes, by the way, is coming back this week, right?
Yeah, Table Takes.
Table Takes has been off the air for a few weeks, but we'll be back this Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific time. Marcus is, by the way, the producer for Table Takes, so
Tune in for tabletop news and talk.
there you go. All right. Coming out of here, Joe.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye.